But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but it could be fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. We're back for a special Friday edition of Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, also AKA, also known as our favorite Canadian, but let's not fool ourselves. All the Canadians are our favorite Canadians. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. Now, everybody knows this is a show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. And you know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the bizarre feeling that we live in the upside down. As always, this show's live. If you want to be part of the show tonight, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And you can also join the Discord and be part of the show that way. Go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. You can click the Discord link. Join us there, and we'll do the thing. We'll do our thing. We'll hang out, and we'll talk about all kinds of amazing things. That's what we do on this show. We're going to say hi to chat at the bottom of the hour here, and we're going to keep the radio format just so that the podcast is consistent once we put it up. But we won't have all the commercials and all the stuff. We're a little bit late getting going because I had all my shit logged out, if you guys recall, from yesterday that I had to fix. I forgot about until go time, and then yeah. So anyway, here we are, and let's welcome Sean to the show. This show is not possible actually without all the hard work of Sean, and I'll explain as we go. What's up, Sean? Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How about yourself?
Doing good. You know the deal, man. We're here to talk about all kinds of wacky stuff. And so I
know.
Right? So Sean's been working on this show for quite a while now, and I'll let him explain. But before we do that, I want to point out to you guys that when I say that if you want to do a show and you want to put in some work and go out and get some interviews and talk to some people and do these things, right? You want to do some extra work and get it on the show, you let me know. We'll set it up. We'll carve out a time. It may not be right away because, of course, we got a lot of things. We're busy folks. Everybody's busy, but we'll get together and we'll make a time to make this happen, and we'll do a show. We'll do a show on what you guys want to talk about. And in this instance, Sean contacted me weeks ago, probably months ago now, probably 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, actually about a month ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while now. So he had an idea. He wanted to do a show. And I was like, cool, what do you got in mind? And he's like, I want to do about censorship and science and, the things that are going on out there. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. And so little did I know, he was going to go out of his way and arrange interviews with people, like actual exclusive type interviews with, in this case, he's got an interview with a doctor that we're going to go through. We're going to parse, and he did a fantastic interview. So we're going to use that as the content tonight as we talk about this. But you want to tell him a little bit about how the process went and what inspired you to maybe start the show in that manner? Tell us a little bit about it, man. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. I apologize, people. The ping is kind of a little high right now, so if I cut out, I do apologize. But I actually happened to find this doctor when I was looking up on censorship. Oh, there we go. It's the Dr. Stillman.
Perfect timing with terrible ping issues. Sorry, go ahead. So you found this doctor where? Oh, goodness. This is going to be one of those tonight.
Maybe.
I hope not. Because the whole point is to have you on the show and do this. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Let's see if I can fix anything on my end. I'm not so sure. Can you hardwire or do anything over there? Anything you can fix? That famous Canadian internet?
For internet, I can maybe hardwire. I just got to find where our router is. Okay, you know what? Give me 2 minutes. I will be right back.
All right, so that's the deal, right? So if you guys want to be actually do a whole show, you're welcome to it, right? Like I said, I always say that this is not a Linda Moulton Howe show. You don't have to be Richard Dolan or George Knapp or any of those guys to be on this show, right? You just have to be you. You have to be a concerned citizen just like the rest of us. And so if you have an idea and you want to do some put in some work, or just kick it to me and we'll kind of work together and put some things in proper order, and we'll do a show. So tonight we're going to be talking about censorship and the the slogan of trust the science, right? That's what I'm calling this show, because it's very important that we understand that it is a bad tagline, right? It is bad propaganda. It is a bad way to gaslight people when you pick and choose your science and then you tell people they're dumb or stupid or admonish them or whatever it is for not actually believing what they believe. You see how this works? When you cherry pick the science, it is not science. It is politics, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Let's just go to the chat. So Sean's going to try and hardwire because he's got having some internet issues over there. So let's go to the chat and say hi to everybody there. What's up, Tim, Joey? I see you guys on Facebook. Joey says, me and Karen are here. Hello. We got Larry from Canada, our other favorite Canadian. See what I did there? We've got Chantel. What's up? Long time no see, Chantel. Chantel actually says, I'm here and awake for now. I've missed the Friday night shows. Yes. Thanks for showing up. Friday, we're going to add them back at some point. I promise it's coming. Like I said, lots of things to juggle, lots of work to do. What's up, Robert? Thanks for being here. Derek, how you doing? Well, we're doing Friday tonight. Anyway, let's see. Joey says, I done got drunk. I may call in tonight. Oh, boy. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Got the wife listening with us tonight. Right on, Matt. Appreciate you recruiting more troubled minds. Appreciate that. What's up, Joey? Who else? William. Hello. We got Rick from Texas. That was William from Singapore. We've got... who else do we got? What's up, Sherry? Thanks for being here tonight. We got Chris. We've got Joy from Australia. Thank you. Joy says, I love your show. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. What else do we got? Who else? We got Tinfoil Timothy. I was listening to part of your show. Good stuff there. We got Johnny. What's up, Johnny? Congratulations. I meant to say it yesterday on a brand new baby, right? Congratulations to you, my friend, and you and the family. Congratulations on the addition. What's up, Robert? Let's go over to YouTube. We got Eli. We got NS. We got Joshua. We've got Hell21. We've got who else? James. We must have been a good. We must have been good a Friday night show. Yeah, well, well, what can you do, right? NS, Axel, what's up, Axel? Thanks for being here. Ash, the reptilian from Mars, what's up, buddy? I see you in the chat. Do the thing. Let's see. Hell21, we got Large Marge. Hello. Thanks for showing up. We have, I think that's good. I think we're caught up. So as we wait,
all right. Hey, guys.
What's up? What's up? Sean is back, maybe. Cross your fingers. We got a good connection now. Are you actually hardwired? Is something changed?
No, actually, they were streaming upstairs, so that's probably what was giving me part of my issue.
Ah, well, you're coming through loud and clear now. So you
awesome.
Confiscated the iPad upstairs. All right.
No, I asked politely.
Okay, perfect. As every Canadian should. All right. So now what I was trying to say before we got interrupted there is why don't you explain what inspired you to do the homework, the pre-work, the prep, the interview, all the stuff to do this particular show? Why don't you tell everybody how that process went, how you were inspired, and what brought us here tonight?
Well, we always talk about censorship and stuff like that, and a lot of people sit there and they'll deny, there's no censorship, no one gets censored here, and everything else like this. And as a good example, with one episode that we did with that little segment of Little Dicky and his 3 seconds of his song, and all of a sudden we got hit with censorship and saying, oh well, this is copyrighted material, even though it was like 3 seconds, there was no words or anything else like that. So, that's an example of live censorship. But for like other people that are speaking out about like anything in general, doesn't necessarily have to be COVID related or conspiracy or anything else like that. They just, if it's an unpopular view, they get censored right away. And that kind of inspired me to, put this all together to show that, yes, people do get censored. They get censored live. They get censored by, having their jobs threatened, with their own physical health, even their own physical well-being. So it inspired me to, put everything together. It is, a little bit COVID related because, well, that's, what we're going through right now. And, and it brings to light, there are different views and approaches that should be discussed with everybody, and just not one, particular group. We shouldn't just, follow the mainstream, as we say on here. It's like, take everything with a grain of salt, do your own research, do the legwork, and go from there.
And that's what you did. So you actually reached out to a particular doctor that was you found in a where did you find this guy, and what's his name? Go ahead and introduce him. We'll start playing some clips and get on with this. Let's do this. Let's get the information out there, man. The people want to know.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I was going through YouTube. I was looking up on censorship and stuff like that, and this doctor actually happened to show up on this one YouTube video. And this gentleman from like a small media, kind of offshoot media, I guess you could say, not being paid the big bucks by the government. But anyways, he just said that it's like, I've been censored on stuff before, and he didn't really elaborate too much. But anyways, it's Dr. Stillman. Yeah, actually, he's a really nice guy. He's actually very insightful and actually really funny. He does crack some jokes in the interview and stuff like that. So, Mike, if you want to play the first clip there.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So this is the interview. So again, this is not from like a YouTube video where we kind of normally do. We kind of do a little bit of research on this show and see what's out there and trim up some clips. This is an exclusive interview done by Sean here. He contacted this guy, interviewed him offline, and then I chopped it up into little parts here. And here's the show. So we're talking about censorship, and this guy's a medical doctor, like an actual physician. All right, like not these phony doctors that have like the fake titles and the thing on the wall, that says they're a doctor. This guy's an actual doctor. But here we go. Here's clip 1, and we're going to continue doing this tonight. We are taking your phone calls as we get going, and you can hear where we're headed from where this starts. So let's go. Clip 1. This is an exclusive interview, heard for the first time tonight. And this is from the hard work of Sean here from Canada. Part 1, action.
We're going to be talking about censorship. Especially when it comes to doctors such as himself getting silenced by like big tech, politicians, so on and so forth. And I hope that y'all like this. Anyways, now I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Silman.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. I'm happy to talk about censorship and what's going on. I'm a general internist here in the United States. I live in Richmond, Virginia, but I work with people all over the world. I actually have some people working with me in Canada right now, although some of them are actually technically domiciled in the United States. And so, yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for having me as well. All right. Just with, do you have like a short list of credentials that you have?
I'm a medical doctor, and I'm board certified by the American Board of Internal Medicine. Mm-hmm. Those are my official credentials.
Okay.
I studied environmental health at Connecticut College, what feels like a really long time ago, and that's where I got my bachelor's of science.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Right on. So now, personally for yourself, what have the big tech and stuff like that kind of silenced you on when you've tried speaking out through either Facebook or Twitter, Facebook even?
Yeah. So the stuff that's been taken down from me is stuff where I'm talking about wireless communications and their effects on human health, which has been a really hot button issue since it was for a long time, since way before I was ever on the scene. Mm-hmm. And that's still, it's controversial because wireless technology has become such a part of daily life. And, when I talk to people about this, it's pretty simple. Even though there's a lot of science behind it. These frequencies have an effect on our bodies, just as any kind of energy has an effect on our bodies. And many people don't notice it. They don't see any ill health effects associated with it. They use their cell phone, their Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever, and they're not worried about it.
Okay, so you see where he's starting, right? He says he worked in environmental health. It's where he got his initial degree. And clearly, so we're starting the conversation here with censorship, and he's talking about how these frequencies have an effect on human health, but you can't bring it up. It's not allowed. He's going to get to that. I'm going to let him explain the rest of that in his own words, of course, but anything to kind of chip in there to add to the conversation as we go. I've got the article up from philipschneider.com. Not that Phil Schneider, a different Phil Schneider. But the headline here is Studies Show Cell Phone Towers Inflict Significant Damage to Trees and Human Health. And that's what this doctor's saying. He's saying that these things are real. These things are out there. They're happening. And unfortunately, nobody wants to hear it because it gets in the way of big industry and it gets in the way of the paychecks and the economy and all these other things, right? So instead of restructuring the economy in a particular way, they just shut it down, right? They shut down the conversation. Want a comment on that, Sean?
Well, and that's exactly it. It's, when it comes to, trying to point out something that is detrimental to health, but it goes against the, almighty dollar, of course they're going to sit there and, silence that person. They're going to make sure that, studies like this are, buried in, litigation. Like if someone decides to take it to court, like they'll bury it and, make it so that way, if someone was to try and do like any type of further investigation or even doing a lawsuit or something like that, saying, hey, you're damaging the environment, and not only that, but you're also damaging people. He actually goes into one of his clips about that, that you'll hear later on. But there's also another study that was done. He does mention the doctor on that, but give me one sec here. I think that is link number 5 The
gotta tell me.
EMF.
What's the headline?
That's the radiation levels from cellular towers.
Okay, let's see. There's a lot of those. There we go. There we go. I got it. Got it. All right, so I'm going to link this and put it up. As always, you guys know. Now, this is the thing. I can't give enough credit to Sean for all this, because not only did Sean arrange this interview, you guys are hearing this interview is being broadcast tonight for the first time. People are hearing this for the first time ever. This is not on YouTube somewhere else. Number one, thanks to Sean here. And number two, all of these links for this show, he came packing. He came with this stuff. He said, look, this is what we're talking about. Here's all the links. Here's the stuff. So I literally have done almost nothing on this except reviewed the material he did, and here we are talking about it. So definitely good shit, man. I can't say thank you enough for taking all the time to put this together.
Yeah.
And I'm linking all the stuff. So if you guys want to follow up on this, as always, you know us and our sources. We prefer that you check our sources. We prefer it. So there you go. There's the sources. And so there we go. So EMF and RF solutions. So let's talk about this real fast. We'll take a quick break after that, just to keep the format in place. It's going to be, here's the format we're going to do tonight. We'll do like the outro music to make it sound cool. Say we'll be right back, but then we're not really going to take a break. Then we'll do like say hi to chat for a couple minutes, and then we'll intro back in, just so when we cut it up for the podcast, it sounds great. So that's what we're going to do. So let's talk about this real quick. Take that quick break, say hi to chat, read some of that, catch up, and then we'll keep on trucking.
All right. So as you can see here, it has the RF radiation levels from the cellular towers. The data here was related to the global system of mobile communications, and with that, they just they do like scanning and stuff like that of different frequencies and everything else like this. And let's see here. One of the lines here that they have within like the second paragraph. The median power density was found to be in the range of 200, watts per meter squared, with the maximum level exceeding 100,000. Again, I don't know what that U is there.
Is that what is that? So I'll highlight it. Go ahead. I'll highlight it. See if anybody knows. That's okay. Right. Go ahead.
All right. And let's see here. A total of 25% of the power densities exceed 100,000, maybe ultra watt per meter squared, which is suggested to be the average threshold value for non-thermal biological effects. So, when you sit there and take a look at that, like just the ranges for like the median power, it's absolutely insane, because it goes from 200 to 100,000 at the maximum level. Like, how is that safe for people?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? And this is kind of what puts us in that 5G territory, right? And Wi-Fi and all the things, all the signals, all the radio signals that are buzzing around, and we are in contact with these things constantly, right? And again, we're not allowed. We talked about this a while back when Frank was on the show. Even we were looking at some of the actual scientific studies of this, and they're old ones. There are old studies that actually are talking about 3G back in those days, and that saying that it was dangerous then. We just keep amping it up. We're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. Put it on 11. Roll it. Go. But I mean, the long-term effects of this could be catastrophic to humanity, right? I think that's the worst part about this is that given enough time, we may be destroying ourselves with our own technology, with smart TVs, of all stupid things, and smart toasters. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of garbage we really don't need is we're trying to wire this in to for what? For industry, for big tech. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this doesn't make sense. And again, part of how we live in the upside down and what we do. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, which just means we're going to hang out with you guys and read the chat and catch up real fast. But we are broadcasting this live as always. We're streaming live on YouTube, DLive, and Facebook, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. If you want to be part of the show, let's play some of this. Oh, I think I played that one. Let's not do that one because I just played that. Let's do this one right here. Yeah. All right. If you want to be part of the show tonight, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. I'm here with Sean, our favorite Canadian, but don't worry, the rest of you Canadians are also our favorites. It's not like that, I promise.
I'm not that special.
he's only kind of special. But all right, here we go. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to read chat. We're going to do our thing. We'll be right back with more Troubled Minds, talking censorship and trust the science. Be right back.
Trust the science.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming.
And I'm the co-host.
Wait.
Oh.
We're here with Sean, our favorite Canadian, the co-host for the evening, who put a bunch of this stuff together. Go ahead, sir. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, everybody. Sean, the favorite Canadian.
Sean, the favorite Canadian. Now, this is the thing, right? Like I always say about this show, if you want to be part of it, you want to do your own show, and you want to talk about some things that you think need to get out there, you're welcome. And Sean took me up on the offer. He did a whole bunch of work, and we're talking about the work he did tonight. He did an exclusive interview with a medical doctor regarding trust the science. We all hear the term, right? We hear the term, trust the science. But if you cherry pick the science, it's not science anymore, is it?
So it becomes so political.
So political, exactly. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're a special Friday show, and we are taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org is the official website. Click the Discord link and join us there. But we got a phone call. Let's take the phone call, and we'll do it. We'll do our thing. What's up? This is Paul from New Hampshire. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Sean. How are you?
Hey, Mike and Sean, how are you guys? Great subject tonight. What were you talking about? I hate to be the bearer of the truth, or maybe, rain on the parade. But again, this is what this is about. We're talking about truth here, right? Stop me if I go out of bounds here, but let's not get political. Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid.
Listen, yeah.
Oh, I never liked that line.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny subject you're talking about. But the 5G thing, and just, these are my thoughts on this. Again, all theory, you know me well. These are my theories. I got to admit here, I've been a bartender for 30 years, and throughout those 30 years, I've watched people that used to come into bars and sit there and talk to people, and now they've all got their faces in their phone. So now we have 5G, and it's a bad thing. Well, I mean, that already happened. That's all I can see about that. Instead of asking for Wi-Fi signals, now you can get 5G and you don't need a Wi-Fi signal. Is it going to kill us? Yeah, I don't think a radio signal is going to get in through my head and change my thought process. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it's a nonstop barrage of what is going on in mainstream media, and what are we going to do to stop the effects of people waking up, and that's give you a better Wi-Fi signal. Because now we can all sit down and bury our heads on our phones. And I gotta tell you guys, I just went through a dating site where some girl was like, "Well, you know about paranormal. What do you think of 5G? It's gonna kill us all." And I was like, "Okay, we're done." Yeah.
That's an easy way of ending it all.
Out of here. No, I really was. I was out of here. I was like, 5G. Oh my God. I took some pictures of orbs too on my way home. If you guys want to see them,
Did you?
Really?
Cool. I missed in front of my car before I took off from my neighbor's house, and they became orbs. And it's just call them droplets in the sun. But, with that being said, I think this is the ongoing rhetoric that everything is bad for us, no matter what's, good or bad, or anything scientific is bad. And if that's the case, then why is the vaccination so good? Well, all you have to do is watch the news on both sides for 5 minutes. I mean, let's put it this way: take an hour on Fox and take an hour on. We're not supposed to get political here, but watch CNN and then watch Fox for an hour. Where do we go here? It's just a nonstop barrage of everything's bad for us, including anybody that's smarter than anybody else. It's almost like what happens tomorrow when we all need to get electric cars and work as blue-collar people that are trying to make a living, no matter how it is, to just, I went out and painted houses today. I'm not looking for, sympathy on that. I had a good time doing it. And, it felt good working. And now people are afraid to leave their house because they're going to die from 5G while they're on their phones, staring into them, sitting at the bar, ignoring the people around them. How do I say this? There's no there's no personal thing going on anymore. It's all, now people are on Facebook. And now you can be on Facebook all the time. So a lot of those people are happy. People like me are going, I don't care if I can't find my glasses because I need my glasses to see things.
What just happened? Where do we...
I think we took the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
This is where this goes, my friend. Fill me in. Tell me where to go here because this is what happened. And 5G. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I got you. No, okay. All right.
Yeah, no, we get it. We get it, Paul.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sean.
Anyways,
it's really kind of creepy is the fact that we can turn everything. And now, have you heard that, global warming was caused by racism? So, I mean, it's just, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? When is it going to get to the fact that people are trying to figure out what's real and fake?
Yeah, they're calling it climate justice now. Okay, we digress. All right, Paul, you're the best, my friend. Everybody doesn't know this is Paul from New Hampshire. Follow him on YouTube. He's got some pictures of some orbs. He said, New Hampshire UFO hunter. Final thought while we got you on the phone, sir. Guys, you got to take everything with a grain of salt and kind of roll with it. And if you believe it, maybe it's true. And if you don't believe it, even if there's this kind of slightly thing that maybe I'm right. I don't know where to go here because it seems there's a lot of people that believe in anything you shove down their throat right now, and they're all into it. How does this happen? How does it make it so easy for people like us to sit back and say, what the hell is going on, while there's other people going, well, you have to listen to me, even though I have no clue what I'm talking about. Where do we go from here? Where do we go? And I think you said it the other night, Mike, fake alien invasion. Yeah, I think that's what we need right now is a fake alien invasion. And then when they figure out it's fake, you mean I got tricked? Come on. I mean, how do we get through this? How do we get to the next step of a place where people are happy and simple and, go out and, blue collar? I guess that's not a thing anymore unless taxes go up. I don't know who out there makes $400,000 a year, but I guess that's, they're worried about taxes. Well, I don't know. Get on, unemployment. And then here's the other thing, guys. I see these people out there that are going, that, I can't get people to work for me. And then they say because the government's paying them more than I pay them. They are, but that's got brought out. And then deny it. So how do we get through this without some reality here? There's got to be some kind of reality. And I don't think that
people worried about 5G eating through their brains is that reality, and that's all I can say about that.
Okay.
You know,
we're gonna continue to talk about this and have a medical doctor that might disagree with you, but anyway,
oh, I'd love to hear this. I'm going to stay on now. I can't wait.
All right.
Are you going to put his name up there and his email address so I can send him an email and he can send me what an idiot I am? Because if I do this, he's going to call me names.
No. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying if you're interested in that topic, that's what we're talking about. We got an exclusive interview from Sean here from a medical doctor talking about that specific thing. So thanks for calling. Appreciate it, my man. Everybody follow.
Thanks, Paul.
The New Hampshire UFO Hunter. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, simple as that. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Phone number's up on the stream. Thanks, Paul. Always a hoot. Always a great call. Right? I think in many cases, laughter is the best medicine, and Paul definitely brings us.
It really is
a good dose of that. So definitely good stuff. All right, so let's continue. Let's burn through a couple of these clips so we can get people caught up to this interview. I don't want to leave this on the cutting room floor because you did a ton of good work. So let's hear some of this again. What's this doctor's name, real quick, before I play this clip?
Dr. Stillman.
Okay,
Dr. Leland Stillman.
Dr. Leland Stillman, and we're talking about censorship. We're talking about how even in the medical field, there are some things they can and cannot say, and they have to kind of tiptoe around this or that, which, of course, really begs the question, is this medicine or is it politics? So here we go. Part 2 of this great interview done by Sean, who's here with us tonight. Action. Dr. Stillman.
But there's other people who do see effects, and a lot of people think those people are crazy and are hypochondriacs or making it up. But then you talk to them and you start to figure out what in their environment is triggering them. And, sometimes it becomes very clear that they're not just imagining it. Like I had a patient who was putting in a Wi-Fi booster in their house, and the minute they plugged it in and turned it on, they started to have a splitting headache. Well, their daughter, who didn't know that they were doing this, came to them from across the house and said, I just got a splitting headache. What did you just do? Mm-hmm. And they turned it off, and both of them had their headaches resolved. I find it hard to believe that her daughter got a headache randomly at the same time. It's certainly suspicious, right?
No, 100%, yes.
Right. And this is something that I see over and over and over again. Oh, my sleep is better. Oh, my headaches are gone. Oh, my vision is somehow changing. Oh, I feel more rested. Oh, my brain fog is better. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So there are obvious benefits to some people to mitigating these wireless radiations. The issue becomes, well, how are we going to manage them in a society, and what real effect do they have on things that are more perhaps significant? Like, for example, what's the effect of cell technology and cell and wireless radiation density in a major city? Does it change morbidity? Does it change mortality? Does it change rates of brain cancer, or rates of autoimmune disease, or rates of allergies, or rates or whatever? Those studies are very, very hard to do. And some of the best ones have come out of Scandinavia, and they're looking at brain cancer registries, because everyone who has a malignant form of brain cancer usually winds up with some kind of diagnosis of that. There are some elderly people who die of old age who probably, their stroke was an underlying tumor, but we don't find out because their family doesn't do an autopsy, because they don't want to cut, grandpa's head open just because he died in his sleep, right? Yeah. But for the most part, premature brain cancer is a great, is a really interesting thing to study when it comes to wireless radiation.
Okay, there we go. So again, this is Dr. Stillman. This is an interview done by Sean, who's here with us tonight, and this is exclusive. Nobody's heard this before except for Sean and myself prior to the show cutting this up. So, what's your take on that, Sean?
Well, as he was saying, there's always the comorbidities that you have to worry about when it comes to with radiation and stuff like that, especially with. Especially in, how many towers are going up, right? Because of the fact that in that one previous one, it's like, it had one tower was to cover a certain area, and it had a certain line of sight. With out of the National Library of Medicine, I believe that was number 7 there. That's the effects of electromagnetic waves from mobile phones on immune status.
Okay, I think I got it. Go ahead. I'm putting a link up. So he's referencing some links here, so I'm going to put these up. Again, right, as always, we appreciate you guys checking out our links. So you see we're not making this stuff up. It's all part of the shtick here. You got to make sure that you cite your sources. So here you go. Here's the source that he's talking about right now. Link it in the chat. Go ahead, sir.
All right, so as it says, the effect of electromagnetic waves from mobile phones on the immune status of male rats, possible protective role of vitamin D. In the abstract, it's kind of like their, I guess, theory that they're trying to, hypothesize and everything else like this, come up with it. And within like the first sentence is actually, something that really popped out at me when I was reading it. There are considerable public concerns about the relationship between mobile phone radiation and human health. Again, this is just that one line has been kind of a concern. People have been concerned about this, as far as I'm concerned, since cell phones have come out. Because, you remember the old bricks, right? They used I believe they used a higher frequency on that. Okay. The present study assesses the effects of electromagnetic field (EMF) emitted from a mobile phone on the immune system in rats and the possible protective role of vitamin D. So with this, they're trying to say, okay, well, we know that there may be some correlation, but let's try and find a way to maybe mitigate it. There's maybe some promising research out of somewhere like let's say Sweden. They're saying, oh, well, people who have higher vitamin D in their system, maybe, they're less likely to, absorb that kind of radiation. Yeah.
Which is not good. Tim in the chat says, cook your nuts at will. Few years, lower sperm count. And I think that's what we're talking about here. It's basically it's not just 5G. I know that when you say 5G, people freak out, right? Like there's a lot of folks who are like 5G caused COVID, and I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? I did a video on that a while back. Like that's not the case. Mm-hmm. But you gotta understand that. Like there are negative effects to these electromagnetic signals to the human body. We are those electromagnetic organic entities. We are, like when Tim called in last night, we were talking about this 2 nights ago. Maybe, I don't know, it all blends together at some point, but like we have these electrical impulses firing in our body. And so if you think that these actual like electrical signals and magnetic signals and all these things in the sky floating all over the place, the Wi-Fi, the 3G, the 4G, the 5G, the 7G, the 10G, if you think all this stuff is not affecting us, we talked about this a long ways back, and there are studies to suggest that this stuff is dangerous. But again, right, when we're talking about the truth of this, or let's not say it's the truth, because that's too heavy a word for me, because this is a post-truth era. This is a post-truth world. But let's say we're getting closer to the truth. Let's call it that. Closer, right? Oh crap! There we go. We lost the phone line. I'll get it back in a sec. But what can you do? Actually, look, this is how pro I've become. I'm going to get it back on, and nobody will know I'm doing it. This is going to be the ninja call back. All right, so phone line is up. Ninja moves. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. I had a point, but I've lost it when the phone dropped. But basically, no, I think the thing is that these signals in the sky, they definitely, there's scientific evidence to suggest, all right, that it is not healthy for organic material, and that would be us. That would be people. That would be, like Dr. Stumman was saying in the clip there, talking about brain cancer, right, and how they turn on like a device in the house, and like a daughter gets a headache, like instantly, and then they turn it off, and the headache goes away. It's not a coincidence, right? These things are not coincidence. So anyway, it's never a coincidence when you sit there and you do something different to your environment, and all of a sudden something like radically changes, either with you or the environment, and then you take that thing that affected your environment out, and then all of a sudden it stops.
So, that's not coincidence. That's pretty much cause and effect.
Exactly. All right, so we're doing this radio style, so we're going to do what we do. So we're going to go to chat for a second. We're going to play some music here as we outro, but we are taking your phone calls tonight. So if you want to be part of the show, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. I'm here with Sean tonight. We're talking about Trust the Science. We're talking about how signals in the sky, 3G, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, how it actually affects organic material and, of course, animals and human beings. Not good. Not a good thing. So if you want to be part of the show, one more time, 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, our favorite Canadian. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, our favorite Canadian, our co-host for the night.
Hello.
And we are talking about Trust the Science. We've got an exclusive interview with a Dr. Stillman that's talking about science and censorship. And of course, if you have science and censorship, it ceases to be science at all. And that's the topic for tonight. Thanks to
it
Sean.
Turns into myth.
Exactly. And worse, fables and all the other things. So
exactly.
Thanks again to Sean for being on the show and putting this together and making this happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show tonight. So all the thanks go to Sean. All your thanks belong to Sean. There you go. All right. So.
Oh, thank you, Mike. You're just stoking the ego.
Perfect. It's okay. Sometimes it's all we got, so you got to run with it. Okay, so let's go. And I'm referring to myself, of course. But okay, all right. Let's go with. We got a phone call here, so we've got the Copper Mustache. So again, if you want to be part of the show tonight, we are streaming on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of it, 702-957-1037, and you can go to troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. You can join the show that way as well. Let's go to the Copper Mustache on YouTube. Welcome to the show, my friend. What's on your mind tonight? Oh, crap. Remember, I muted it?
Whoops.
Sorry about that. Okay, let's play like I didn't mess that up. Copper Mustache, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
What beer flavor are you drinking tonight?
I've only had one, to be perfectly honest, and it's Sapporo.
Okay.
I'm just it's kind of Friday.
Japanese.
Yeah, it's kind of Friday, so it's kind of like, I let the hair down and have some fun. So it's all good. I promise I'm not blitzed. Just one.
Okay, my question tonight, I know you is for Sean. Actually, there are a couple of questions I have. One is, I was back in the day when we had those World War II brick walkie-talkies that everybody held on their hand. They weighed 15 pounds, and we talked to them. Thought we're the coolest people in the world. And people, even back then, were suggesting that they gave off way too much radiation. And my question is, did it change anything from the time those were built until they switched over to digital? So those were analog, and then we switched over to digital. Did that change any of the radiation that could be given off on the phone?
I cannot honestly say for sure, but if I had to hazard a guess, and again, this is just a guess, my own, personal view, I think it just went from, more of a, instead of a power amplitude with like the old brick walkie-talkies to more of the high frequency when it became digital. So you don't have to put out as much power for higher frequency compared to for a power output for like the old brick ones.
And the reason I asked that question is because in a recent Elon Musk episode of Joe Rogan, he was talking about 5K and his satellite system that's going to be coming down. And he was saying that the 5K is actually better for the high urban areas, but for the people who live out in the boondocks, his system will be much better because it'll be easier to get. Again, do we see a difference in the radiation that could be given off on those two? I've seen things online saying that as long as you stay within about 100 feet or so of a tower, you should be safe. But again, that's just, what you read online.
Yeah, honestly, I can't say for sure. I would definitely have to look that up. I could say anything and talk out my ass, but it wouldn't be fair to everyone else, right? So it's definitely something that I'll look into and stuff like that, and we can definitely have another show and we'll go further on that.
You're good, Sean. I talk out my ass constantly. It's fine, man. I get away with it. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Good points here. So do you think then that this is being suppressed? That this is literally could be one of the actual existential threats to humanity, and we're not addressing it because dollar signs? Do you think that's possible, Copper Mustache?
That's a question I don't know. The fact is that the radiation aspects about phones have been around since about the time they started cell phones. Like you said earlier, with people with the headaches and things of that nature, people were claiming that people who had brain cancer back in the day were heavy cell phone users. So I was wondering if there's been any major reduction of that. I mean, more and more people have obviously used cell phones since that day, because it was very, very expensive back then to use one, as opposed to this today. Not that it's cheap, but we don't leave anywhere without it. But I mean, if you look at the median age of a human being from now, going back 100 years, obviously we're way ahead of this curve. So I don't foresee a major issue with the cell phone technologies, because you just don't hear enough about, again, mainstream media, but you don't hear enough about any common thread of deaths or severe cancers because of radiation caused by cellular towers or from cellular devices themselves. I would think if there was one, it would be more from the towers than from the actual devices.
Interesting you bring that up. So the doctor here, Stillman, I believe his name is, he actually addresses that in a bit in the interview here. So it is a good point. I'm not going to steal his thunder as we get to that. So we'll burn through some of that and answer your questions. But let's just say that kind of like when you try and classify a death, let's say, in the past year, like lots of deaths have happened because of a particular thing. Okay, I'm not going to say that thing. But then regardless of whether people died from it or died while having it, they were classifying them as dying from it, you see, kind of miscategorizing things. And so I think that's part of the answer. I think that's part of the answer here is that maybe that some of the cancer that's happening currently is not attributed to these things because, of course, it's politically not okay. You see what I'm saying? It's being suppressed.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a major billion-dollar industry, and are they going to allow that to get out? Obviously not. But again, there would be a variance in the age of what people pass away from in the last 20 years, because that's about 20 or 30 years, or whatever it is, that cell phones have come out. And if anything, we've increased our longevity, not decreased it. So it doesn't really make. I don't see it being a issue really.
Well, I think the case there is it's too soon to tell because Wi-Fi itself probably was not ubiquitous until, let's say, maybe 2005, 2010, somewhere in that range. And I know a lot of people had it, but a lot of people didn't. Like a lot of the coffee shops and stuff were kind of adding it, So it's definitely wasn't those things where it was literally everywhere yet. But now in 2021, it is literally everywhere. So I think part of that is, some of us that were born maybe in the 70s, 80s, early 90s type of thing, that we were not exposed to a lot of that. And so we're kind of like on the back end of our life by the time this type of stuff starts to happen. But then these people that were born now, like the babies being born now, I think we may have a different case. And we may have like maybe early cancers type situations coming, middle age, which is clearly unfortunate and not a good thing. So that's my take. Again, like I said, unscientific. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about half the time. But that's what I think is probably happening and why we don't have what you're describing just yet. It's just because the amount of it being everywhere hasn't synced up with everybody being around it yet. You know what I mean? But I think the next 30 or 40 years will tell.
Absolutely, and I think that's what we've learned in the last 30 years is what's going on with it, because the cellular technology has continued, but there has been very little said about it. So I don't, who knows what that is. And I don't mean to take up all your time, so I'll get off here real quick. But I do want to leave you with one word of advice, and that is this summer, boys, and when you're out on the beach, if you don't want the effect of never having babies again, don't wear the Speedo and have your phone in that Speedo. It's not going to work. It's probably not going to that long. It's designed to be in the ear, not that far down. Okay, keep that in mind.
Fantastic advice. I've got a shirt. I've got a shirt with a squirrel.
I know
I
know when it goes off, it feels really good there for a while, but still, it's not worth it. Okay, it's really not worth it.
Protect the nuts. Protect the nuts is what we're saying.
Have a great night, and thank you for everything, you guys.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. That's Copper Mustache from YouTube. Good stuff. Protect the nuts. I've got a T-shirt, I promise you, that has a squirrel on it. He's holding up a stick like he's fighting something, and it says "Protect the nuts." All right. So
actually, I got a T-shirt coming in hopefully here pretty soon, and it says "I'm still betting 1,000 for my." In quotations, theories.
Nice. Okay, so we're talking about trust the science. We got a couple clips. I'm going to burn through a couple clips here. We got a phone call coming in, but I want to make sure we get through most of this interview because it was such a good job done by Sean here. So I see you on the phone. Hang tight. We're going to play a couple clips, and then we'll get to you in just a sec. So here we go. This is an interview from a Dr. Stillwell. This is an exclusive interview that was done by Sean right here. That's on with us tonight. All right. So he was actually the guy that actually the guy that made this interview happen. This is an exclusive. This is happening for the first time. Nobody's heard this yet, so it's important that we burn through some of this. Do you want to be part of the show? Phone number's up. Let's actually the phone was the same guy. That was actually the Copper Mustache. It showed up twice. So okay. So we don't have a call, but we do have time for you. Give us a call. We're going to burn through some of these clips. Yes. Dr. Stillwell.
We like hearing from you guys.
Yes, sir. All the good takes are what makes the show go round from all the different people. So here we go. Part 3, Dr. Stillwell, action.
So recent studies show that there's not an increase in brain cancer in people who are being exposed to these wireless devices. But there are still studies from the past that show that there is an association. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I really want to use like our time together to get into all the controversy around that. But the simple reality is that, I have patients who see a significant difference. And there's a question of, do we have a right to an electromagnetically free or minimized, shall we say, environment, right? What's our right to that? Which is a question, a valid question.
Oh, it is.
Right. And so what many people like myself have been asking in the last year and what I've been censored on is, what effect does new and changing electromagnetic radiations in the environment have on human health? What effect might it have on the propagation of a virus? What effect might it have on the human immune system? Okay. People turn that into like, oh my gosh, these people think that 5G causes COVID. That's just not what we're saying. We're asking a question. What effect is wireless radiation having on the public health with regards to viral illness, bacterial illness, whatever? I mean, for example, we know from there was this really interesting study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2011 by Nora Volkow, who's an addiction specialist in New York, and she showed that blood glucose levels will rise in the brain in response to cell phone radiation, right? Mm-hmm. Well, blood glucose is a key marker for metabolism. Well, metabolism is everything in the human being in any living system, right? So if you can induce a change with a wireless frequency that affects something like blood glucose, that can change immunity, can change metabolism, well, then why can't that affect, the population health as a whole and people's susceptibility to a viral illness? Those are questions that are not, we're sort of not allowed to ask.
Not allowed to ask. Questions that are not allowed to be asked. I'm going to burn through just one more clip here, just to make sure we get through some of this. And like I said, I don't want to leave this on the cutting room floor. This is an interview done by Sean. Sean's here on the phone with us. He's on Discord, actually. And he put this show together. This is all the work of Sean. So all our thanks belong to Sean tonight. Thanks again for being part of this, man, and putting this together, making this happen. Fantastic information from a professional, from an actual professional that works in the field, a medical doctor that is talking about these magnetic, or what would you call them? Electromagnetic. EMF. And is it dangerous? Is it dangerous to people? And how we're not allowed to talk about it and how he's been censored. So here we go. Let's burn through another one real quick, and then we'll talk about this.
And people just think that we're crazy, and that's where the censorship I've seen has been. There's also, and this hasn't happened to me personally, but I haven't really put it out there. I've seen, people say that ivermectin works and hydroxychloroquine works, and they've been censored, and they've been really hated on by a lot of the conventional medical establishment.
Yeah.
And obviously, there aren't large-scale clinical trials with these agents. At the same time, we might ask the question, well, why didn't the authorities set up large-scale clinical trials when there were all these people saying that they worked? And then when they did put out clinical trials, many people were concerned about, whether or not they were properly designed or whether or not they were ethical or whatever. Hydroxychloroquine was the main one. And so there's just all this politicization of medicine going on. And that's really why, I decided to talk to you about this, is because I want people to understand that, at this point with how things are going, people like me are worried about losing their license because they make a statement that they think is reasonable and grounded in the literature. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then is your doctor's opinion that they give you their opinion, or is it what they're saying so they can keep their job?
Yeah. Well, I think from my perspective, when it comes to people like yourself speaking out, and just, getting the word out there, I think that, it's great, 100% great that you would do something like that. Whereas it comes to the rest of them that are just, saying, hey, you're being a high contract and everything else like this. I think that it is a fear element of losing their job.
Exactly. And so Paul says on Facebook here, questions we are not allowed to ask unless you're part of the right political party. And that's exactly it. That's exactly all this. It's unfortunate that we're here, and then you hear the term trust the science, right? And you're being gaslighted into whatever the hell they want. The cherry pick science, the political science. It's not okay. This is not okay. This is not science, guys. And so now the discerning mind understands the difference, right? But a lot of people that don't follow it, they can be kind of bludgeoned, right? They can kind of use this term.
Bludgeoned and misled.
Yeah, as like a, not of course physically, but sort of as a political cudgel to intimidate people into doing what they're expected to do, right? It becomes a 1984
almost
situation.
like a Manchurian candidate, but slightly different.
And exactly, and so that's what we're here talking about, guys. Trust the science, right? Except when the science or the doctor disagrees, then the particular doctor that goes against the party gets censored. Exactly, you're the quack. You're the guy that nobody believes because it's a bunch of BS. So again, we're hearing Dr. Stillwell in an interview. This is an exclusive interview. Stillman.
Yeah, it's Stillman.
Stillman, I'm sorry. I keep saying Stillwell. It's Stillman. I'm an idiot. See, I didn't do it. That's why. Anyway, I appreciate
it's all good. It's all good.
I appreciate it. So one more time, Doctor who?
Stillman.
Stillman. That's what I That's what I said.
Yeah.
Booty trap. All right. So this is Sean, and he did this exclusive interview. Nobody's heard this before. This is not on YouTube or anywhere else. And so you're hearing this for the first time tonight. So I'm going to play one more clip, and then we'll continue talking about this. But the thing is this, these electromagnetic frequencies, do you think they're dangerous? I put up a poll. I think it should be up in the Facebook chat. And these are the things that science should be looking into, right? Because like the Copper Mustache said when he called, how do we know when we kind of have like a limited data set? You know, because like me, I was born in a particular era where we didn't have computers. There was no Wi-Fi signals, right? We had to worry about radio waves, and that was kind of it. But now the electromagnetic frequency is off the charts. Everywhere you go, you walk in, they've got their own personal Wi-Fi. You know, every coffee shop, every store, everything has got Wi-Fi going on, which wasn't around when I was a kid. So you see, so we're kind of at this juxtaposition of the tipping point, meaning that if this is a danger, we're about to find out quickly, like in the next 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, as people that have been exposed to this more than the older generation start to experience problems, right? Like major problems. And
exactly.
And so that's really what we're doing tonight. So let's smash through one more of these. This is again from Dr. Stillman, Dr. Stillman. And this is Sean, who's on Discord with us. He actually did this interview himself. Let's go to, I want to just smash through this to make sure we get through it. So let's go to this next part.
Yeah.
Action.
Have you experienced any bullying from any of your peers at all?
Actually, very little.
Very little? Okay.
Very little. But that's in part because I just don't have a lot to do with my peers in the conventional medical establishment anymore. Because I really just enjoy hanging out with people who are more on my page as far as health and healing are concerned. So I tend to hang out with chiropractors, acupuncturists, nutritionists, naturopaths. And then frankly, most of my colleagues I think are busy and they don't really want to take the time. And that's about it.
Do you think that with them not taking the time to, I guess, in a way, kind of compare notes, that it's almost like the system was set up that way? Or do you think it's more so like personal choice for something like that?
How do you mean?
Like, for example, like, let's say you discover something with your patients and doing like a certain treatment or whatever.
Sure.
And it would be, unconventional in conventional medicine.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would, actually compare the notes, or they would just be like, okay, whatever, and just dismiss it?
They dismiss it. There's a total lack of curiosity for anecdotal medicine in the conventional medical establishment. I don't know why that is. I think part of it is human nature. People get trained to do what they do. They do it the way they were trained to do it. They don't ask questions. They don't innovate. They don't try to make things better. I think that's as true as, if you're going to your mechanic around the corner for your car as it is to if you're going up to the hospital for a subspecialist. I don't see a lot of flexibility in people over the course of their career changing their practice paradigm to do better or just different medicine. That I do know it's very rare to meet a colleague who's got that curiosity and keeps reinventing themselves.
Okay, so again, this is an interview from Dr. Stillman. I got it right this time. And this is Sean, actually, Sean from Canada, and he's here with us tonight. He actually conducted this interview. This is an exclusive. Nobody's ever heard this before. And we're talking about trust the science. Of course, unless the science is censored. And then science is no longer science. And that's exactly what we're talking about tonight. So we got a phone call coming in. You guys know what to do if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. It's great to hear what people think, right? It's amazing, man.
Exactly.
Format. So good. So as they're screening the call, I'm going to play one more clip. I just want to shoehorn this stuff in because, like I said, you did such good work. A lot of times I'll have a bunch of clips. A lot of clips I don't play because I'm like, fuck it, like we're just going to be doing our thing, and we'll take the phone calls and stuff. But I want to get this interview in because it's important. He says some important things, and like I said, you did such good work. I don't want to just kind of leave half of it on the cutting room floor. So I'm going to smash this last part in, and then we'll take this phone call, and then we'll take a quick break at the bottom of the hour and do our thing. Again, we're not on a radio clock. We're just kind of playing like we're on the radio, but just so the podcast cut will be fantastic. But here we go. Let's go to part 6 of this interview. This is, again, Sean from Canada. He's here. You've got a channel on BitChute. What's it called, real quick, before we start this?
It's called Dark Uglies, and it is also on YouTube as well. On BitChute, I have 2 other interviews done with a Ontario nurse. Her name is Kristen Nagel. Those of you that follow her, you know who she is. And then I also have an interview with a good friend of mine who's actually ex-military, and his name is Jamie.
Awesome. And okay, so and we'll link that to the show notes, and I'll keep that linked permanently. I'm linking Tim permanently. I'm linking Tam permanently. I'm linking Penny. If you guys contribute to this show and you have a channel, you let me know. Like, this is the thing, right? We want to share the love. We want to make sure that people find you as well, because there's a lot of smart people that call into this show, and if you have your own thing going, we want to help you build that. Okay, so please, if you have a thing going and I don't know about it, let me know. I'll make sure I plug it for you, okay? So that's the thing with this show. If you contribute to us and give us your time in an honest manner, we have no problem plugging your stuff for you. So there we go. So real quick, interesting, Tim in chat is posting NASA, what happens to the human body in space? And oddly enough, this individual, Dr. Stoneman, gets to that in this interview with Sean. So here we go, part 6, and then we'll go to this phone call, and then we'll take a quick break.
Do you think that, with the way that conventional medicine is set up, it's set up that way, where you just kind of stay in your own
Absolutely.
bubble?
Yeah, it's a dogma. It's an orthodoxy. You don't question the orthodoxy. You don't question the dogma. The professors in medical school within the subspecialties may have differences of opinion on very small questions. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, they are lockstep with one another in terms of their theories of disease and health and wellness. There isn't controversy about those things. And when you get out of there, you see what your patients teach you is that they don't follow the textbook. And so following the textbook and the algorithm that you learned in medical school becomes, I don't want to say pointless, but it doesn't get your patients the results that they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Have you reached out to any of your colleagues, like if there was something that you couldn't quite figure out, or something that seemed mysterious, and they've just kind of dismissed you with that?
No. But I mean, the only colleagues who I keep, company with at this point don't think I'm, crazy. And so I can talk to them about this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, we sort of generally have the same philosophy, and a lot of them already have come to the same conclusions as I have about certain things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at my questions here. So now, with all the mixed signals that are in the air, do you think that's adding to people's fears and anxieties? For example, like Dr. Fauci, he's been, on live air, essentially saying that masks are completely useless, but you could still use it, but it's not going to do anything for you. Like, there's that message, and then there's like the message from the WHO, which is saying it's like, yeah, they may not work as well as you would think, but at least it's still something.
Okay, so a great question. I cut it off at an awkward part, but I don't like to make the clips too long. So we'll get his answer in a sec. But any comment on that real quick before we take the phone call, Sean?
No, you know what? Let's take the phone call.
Phone calls are good. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. You are on Troubled Minds with Mike and Sean. How are you, my friend?
Good evening, everybody. Hello.
Hello. Happy Friday. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm just calling in to, give some opinion on some of this that you guys are talking about tonight.
Right on. What do you think about the EMF? Do you think the 5G and this stuff is a problem, or do you think it's much ado about nothing?
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday, right? So the thing I was talking about that book and that the research that was in there about the magnetobiology. Okay, well, in there it's going to also tell you the whole point of this is that, of course, the body is not going to be any human or any kind of living life form actually is not going to be living well, or I should say doesn't live correctly if it's going to be around EMF. I mean, there's people, there are already studies out there, you know what I mean? It's just who you want to listen to. It's just like this, what you guys are talking about. Like, do you believe the science? But everybody else has got their own opinion. There's going to be, you know, that's why they do peer reviews or whatnot. But even peer reviews, you know, those people can be bought out, and you know, you gotta actually have a good table of research that people, you know, some real, let's just say some people that's probably been in their field in quite some time before, you know, you can, you know, there's different tests people can, you know, provide, or, you know, and it depends too, because, you know, these manufacturers of all these things are going to come out with their own, supposedly their own doctors, and these, you know, everybody knows these doctors are paid off as well.
Yeah, always the money, right? Follow the money. Hey, here's some money. Shut the fuck up. And they're like, okay, got it. I'm gonna go buy a yacht and rent a supermodel. It's like it's the way the world works.
Yeah. What I was actually trying to get at too is electromagnetic fields, right? So, like, this one little girl in high school, I mean, in elementary, she did for like a fair, right? You know, those science fairs. Well, you put like even a plant, you know, here's an example if you want to even check this shit out, any kind of life. It might not kill it, but it can also transform it into something else, you know, mutations. Put plants. And then there was a guy, you know, I seen a couple of them where they put so many at the same type plant and the same growth, same type, you know what I mean? When they put them on like a foot away from one, like a modem, right? A foot away, 2 feet away, 3 feet away, and you're going to see the difference. And these plants, they either die. I mean, you see these ones, like I have a picture. I was going to post in Discord, but it shows like, you know, those, it's a cell phone tower, but they make it, it's like in California, they make it look like a pine tree.
A palm tree.
But what's crazy, yeah, a palm tree. So, but what's crazy, you have these palm trees, there's like 4 of them that are around it, real ones. So kind of like they were in a bunch together. All 4 of them look like they're just totally bent over, like a rubber band, you know, like just totally bent over. So any kind of like, you just have to look at that stuff. Man, people, and it's already been proven facts too, like these cell phone towers, the big ones, you know what I mean, that they're like repeaters, these repeating towers that send, you know, the information down further. Well, those ones, like if you see those in like parking lots, you know, you'll see them seeing by like strip malls, or they would have one in actually by an elementary school, and these kids were getting cancer, right? So, and it's just a long time exposure, and it depends on like I said earlier yesterday in the other one, you can, you know, it depends on how much power you're going to be pushing through it, and what kind of, you know, a field you're going to put. Do you want to direct, you know, you want to close it down to, you know, one stream? But this is the thing about it. With cell phones that we've had now, right? 5G is going to be totally different. This is the thing that people's not really understanding either. Because when you have the regular, like even like now, you know what I mean, you have the fast generation 4 LTE, whatever, right? So you have those. But long-term exposure, yes, it's always going to give it, might, you know, cause cancer or even a tumor or something. Of course it is not. It's not good for you. There's none of these tests that saying any of this shit's good for you. Whether, I mean, the only thing that they want to say is just how the wording is. They're trying to say that there's no effects. Of course, there's effects, but what we're trying to say is that if it isn't bad, is it good for you? Or, I mean, you know, is there something that's going to be? There's always something like I was, you know, explaining earlier too, like last night. You know, I mean, those electrons that 60 megahertz, those that causes those electrons to spin, and that's in every cell in the body. Now, the other conclusion that I didn't get to yesterday, but this is the thing, where I learned this from, and actually the guy was talking about this stuff too when I started looking more research after he talked about it. His name was Brother Polite. I don't know if anybody's heard about him, but he's an activist, and he's actually, you know, he helps people try to make money. You know what I mean? He was dirt poor at one time, but he educated himself and on a lot of stuff, right? You can tell this man changed his life, and for the greater good. So, but he talked about this too in the research from that lady, Dana Ashley. And this is the thing about it is when they click that 5G on, and that's the thing about, I'm sorry, let me skip back to where I was talking about, like people not understanding, because every cell phone is, you're just coming with one beam to you. With the 5G, they're going to have towers every 10 houses. And this shit's going to be everywhere. So you're going to be constantly bombarded with this shit. It's not just going to be your cell phone. It's going to be everything that runs off this 5G. And that's everything. That's what everything they want you, like all these, anything that's Wi-Fi too, everything. Like the rings on your doorbells, clap your, you can turn your lights on, with your cell phone, all this other shit, you know what I mean? Like, your smart TVs, your smart fridges, they can tell you your milk's empty, they got smart dishwashers and washers and dryers. They don't need all that shit on there, but they're just trying to bombard you. This stuff, that's what I'm saying. I was wondering if there would ever be, like, say maybe some neighborhoods or some other people say they don't, they reject that shit. You know what I mean? They don't even want that technology in their neighborhoods because, if that's what they're saying that everything needs is, I mean, to me, that technology, if that's what you need for this technology, I don't think it's going any further. It's pretty shitty to me.
Yeah, and we'll see. I think that's the thing. So, like we've talked about in the past, people say 5G and they kind of, demonize it and all the rest of this. But like I said, if they're going to roll out 5G, DARPA's on like 10G, right? I mean, imagine the shit that they're actually that they're actually working on right now that we don't even know about. That's not even commercialized yet. And this is kind of what we were talking about last night too. Like I said, it does tie in a little bit here. That like we were talking about, like kind of the Havana, right? The Havana and the actual, it's called the Havana syndrome. It's got the radio frequency, LRAD, right? And so, like I'm saying, they've been working on this stuff for years and years and years, and they know the effects of this on the human body. And so, of course, if they know, right, because they're using this as weapons in some cases, oddly enough. So yeah, we actually did that yesterday as the show, and then today this kind of ties in very, very neatly with that, just like you said, Kelly. But they know very well. Like there's concrete studies on this because they're weaponizing it. So if you're weaponizing something, you know exactly how to use it, what the damage is going to be. Otherwise, why are you using it as a weapon? Like if you're like, is this effective or is it not? Like you wouldn't use it if you didn't know if it was effective. And so that's part of the problem here and part of what we're talking about. It's crazy. The crazy world, man. Again, part of the upside down, right? It's so much here that it just seems to not be correct. That shouldn't we slow down and make sure? Shouldn't we be positive that this is the way we should go? Because this could be an existential threat to humanity, in my opinion. It could be. I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it has that possibility if we continue upping this EMF into the atmosphere constantly so that we're literally bombarded by it on a 24-hour basis, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this, but I think we should. I think we should have like a full-on like scientific panel, like parse this stuff out and really get to the bottom of it, or else what the hell are we doing? We're just racing to our own end, right? It seems stupid.
Yeah, and I'll give you another. They've also done studies as well for like say like these viruses, like all these flu pandemics. Just a little tie this in real quick was just like you were saying, radio waves. So when they even started using that radio waves and stuff, that's when pandemics started hitting and stuff. That's where they even said, like, when they were up there, a different style of radio waves or radar frequencies, right? That's when that whole, back then was the Spanish flu, or, you know what I mean? That flu, that whole, and it's because every time we go up higher to a new generation, right? So this 5G coming up, or 6G, anytime you're going to go up higher, it's going to be, everybody's going to get blasted with a little bit more. It's just saying what they're trying to push is their limits. And if it's not, if they're saying, oh, they'll never know if it's 10 years, 15 years down the line. Just keep bombarding it. We'll just tell them, it's something that they have to have. And we'll have to, we'll make everything else, the electronics and everything that go with it, that have to run on this type of shit. You know what I mean? So they have to buy it. So there's no way around it. But see, and to tie it in with COVID-19, right? So the thing about it, like I was again yesterday, you're like again the whole 60 gigahertz, right?
Just be careful. Be careful how you word this, please. Kelly, be careful how you word this, please. You know they're listening to us.
No, I know, but listen, what I'm saying is when you do this, what it does, okay, and I'm going to give you two examples. What it does and what happens with this thing, okay? So what it looks for, any kind of virus, is going to look for a dying cell, right? It gives off an enzyme. This is science. You can look this shit in virology. So what I'm talking is there is no conspiracy about it. You can look it up. I'll even post it up on Discord if someone wants to look at it, right? So it's Biology 101. So, and this is it's a Canadian, actually it's a Canadian edition. And where's where I found it. Okay, so what it does is it finds, that's what these things do. They try to find a dying cell. That's what and when they find one, that's when they sink inside and they, replicate. That's the whole point of it. Now, if you have something like these new technologies bombarding you and it causing cell destruction or cell deterioration, what do you think this is going to cause? It doesn't cause it, right? I'm not saying it causes it at all. What I'm saying is it's going to actually help it out. Because all these cells in your body's dying, so it's something that's that's how cancers work. Cancer is a virus. It's the exact same thing. Cancers, they're like natural cancers within your body. I'm not talking like from electromagnetic forces or like through like nuclear waste or anything like that. I'm talking like regular stuff that you find in your cancers in your body. It's a virus. Okay, that's what that is. And there are RNAs and DNA viruses. There's two different, there's classes and different things that you can go with. But that's all I'm saying. That's the only connection that you can only put into is if you're being bombarded by something that is destroying your cells in your body, of course you're going to be affected by something else. Of course something else is going to be affected. Could be cancers, could be viruses. That's science. I mean, there's nothing around that. You know what I mean? So I'm not, there's no things that people try to say that it's causing you to be sick. No, it's causing you to destroy your body, which will cause everything else to fall in place, which makes you, sick. But like for a medical field on one side, I just wanted to touch up was there's a man, when this why I kind of like your, the show tonight was about a medical. Let's talk about this man, okay? His name is Dr. Sebi. I don't know if anybody heard SEBI or Dr. Sobi. This man, he was from Africa, all right? And he didn't go to any schooling for, He didn't go any medical schooling for anything, but he knew about plants and everything else, right? And how to take care of the body. So he started putting his, these African roots and ingredients that he learned from different tribes from South or Western Africa, where he is from. He came here to the United States, and he calls it Maya, right? And it's all over Facebook if you look it up. And he's passed away now, but Mr. Sobi, he talks about this concoction that he made, and he was actually, what it is it was iron fluoride, or I think it's that iron fluoride that's in it, and he was just trying to strengthen up the blood for people that are sick with illnesses, right? But when coming to find out what he was doing, besides with the other ingredients that he was using, was that he was curing people, and he was curing people with AIDS. He was curing people with what was it, lupus, and it's a cancer, right? But it's more for the cells. I can't remember. I think leukemia, right? So all these people, and so people were flying around the world to go to see him in New York City. He opened up a clinic and stuff. But then the people, found out that he didn't have like a doctor's degree to do all that stuff. So they tried to shut him down. But the thing about it was, is he was, he was arrested and all that stuff. He went to court, right? So he got out and he went to court where he was trying to battle to keep his business going. So he took all their science books, everything that they have, and he took all the biology books that he has, and he explains to them, and he's the only one that went to the New York City Supreme Court and won. So they were asking for have like 5 or 6 different patients from every diseases that he said that he brought and that he cured, that he so-called cured, that what he claimed. So you know what he did? He brought 72 of each. This man was curing people of every disease, and it's just by like holistic healing instead of all this. Because all these new doctors now, like you get out of these universities, you graduate, you got to follow these steps. You want your job, you got to have all these hospitals. They got different regulations and rules. They have to follow, and they don't want to. They have to do what they have to do. Sometimes I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. These guys graduated, they spent the time to do all that stuff, but yet, they have to follow these fucked up rules and, regulations that other people are, making them do. They probably don't want to do.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, we got to move on, Kelly. I appreciate it, man. There's a ton of stuff we still got to get to tonight. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the good information.
Thanks for the call, Kelly.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend.
All
God
right,
bless you and the family, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, bro.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks, man. All right, so just want to lay this out there. I know the algorithms are listening and may get the wrong idea. None of this is medical advice or any of that. We're talking about anecdotal things, and it's everything is based on belief, and I do believe we have the right to be wrong in some cases. And please don't take any of this as medical advice, because it is not. This is just people talking opinions and censorship. And censorship is real, and it's part of what we do. Quick comment before we take a quick break and get to the chat for a sec, and then we'll get back to the rest of this. Sean?
Yeah, no, actually, what Kelly was touching on with that doctor and stuff like that, there's actually several people who up here in Canada who have recently, and when I say recent, in the past, like I'd say maybe 5 years, have switched from doing regular practice to doing holistic medicine, and they found that when they've helped people, I'm not going to say treat, but they've helped people, there was a positive result, and these people want to continue that positive result, so these people continue helping, and there's been many people who have I won't say completely reversed, but they've mitigated what's been happening to them to the point where it's livable. They're not always in pain. They're not always feeling disorientation and stuff like that.
Good stuff. Again, remember, not medical advice. None of us are doctors. Don't take any of this as that.
No.
It is not the thing. It is not the thing. This is anecdotal stuff, et cetera, so on. So I realize that we're being listened to, literally every single word we say. So I just want to make sure that, as always, this is not financial advice. I am not an accountant, or I'm sorry, or a doctor. This is not. This is
not a doctor. I don't have a degree.
Not an accountant. Any of that stuff. Anyway, so anecdotal stuff. Don't sweat it. It's these are things you've heard, right? This is rumor. This is the things that we've heard and read on the internet, and this is why we get together and talk about these things. So anyway, let's take a quick break, and we're going to continue with this. We're talking about trust the science, right? Trust the science, and it is what it is. I mean, we're told one thing and we're gaslighted to another, and then science is politics and politics is not science, and then one thing is not the other. And again, that's why we live in the upside down and why we talk about this and the rest of these things. So if you want to be part of the show, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, our co-host tonight. He did a fantastic interview with an actual medical doctor that's talking about censorship. And we're still taking your calls if you want to be part of it. 702-957-1037. Please just be careful about how you word things when you call in, and don't make sweeping claims about medical cures or anything, because, well, I mean, without peer review and all the science that goes behind it, right? Wink, wink. You can't really verify these things. So it's all unverified.
Yeah, we don't want to have another little Dicky incident.
Yes, we do not. We do not want to have a little Dicky incident. So all right. So you're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Sean. We're hanging out, having a good time, and don't go anywhere. More after the break.
Vader was seduced by the dark side of the Force. The Force?
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, our favorite Canadian. But don't be deterred. If you're also Canadian, you're also our favorite. No, don't be. And we're talking about trust the science. And what that means is a lot of things, right? It depends on who you ask. And unfortunately, that's not how science works. And we're here talking about it, thinking about it, discussing it. And we've got an exclusive interview done by Sean here of a medical doctor that's giving us specific examples of how he's actually been censored. And so that's what we're doing tonight. That's what's on deck. You want to plug your channel there, Sean, and explain what's going on with your what the project you're working on?
Yeah, no, I've got a channel on YouTube and also on BitChute. It's called Dark Uglies. I have 2 other interviews that I have done, one with an Ontario nurse and actually one with a friend of mine who is ex-military. And both of them have experienced censorship, as we're talking here. With my friend Jamie, he actually got a list of approved responses that he was to give when it came to media, because he had a bit of a faux pas one time with their own media, their own newspaper. And with Kristen, she actually ended up getting fired from being an RN because of the fact that she dared to question the narrative and what was going on and everything else like this. So, this stuff does happen. It happens all the time. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, what's with what's going on currently right now with, the Void and everything else like that. But, it could be something as simple as, you have a strong opinion about broccoli and how much you absolutely detest it. The broccoli farmers will say, well, there's actually some good health benefits when it comes to this stuff. So, we're just going to make sure that you're kept quiet, and we're going to continue our sales. So
exactly. And of course, add to that is that we're still allowed to have our own opinions, right? We're still allowed to have our own anecdotal discussions. We're still allowed to make up our own mind and even be wrong about our own health. We're still allowed to do those things, aren't we? I think all that stuff is still allowed. So let's continue with this. So this is the interview that was done by Sean here of Dr. Stillman. See, I got it right. And we're going to go.
There you go.
Boom. So you only have to tell me like 75 times, and I finally might get it right. See, I told you. I tell you guys, radio is not my superpower. I press the wrong buttons and say the wrong shit all the time. But here we go. Here's the next one. This is from again, Dr. Stillman. This interview is exclusive. You're hearing this for the first time. This is not available anywhere else on the internet. And here we go. This is part 7 in the second half of this, and we're going to hear some of this because it's important. Listen to this guy and how he's been censored in trying to treat patients because of politics. Simple politics. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Stupid politics.
Science is science, and politics is politics, and they shouldn't mix. And yet here we are mixing them. So here we go, part 7.
Yeah, and I mean, they've both gone back and forth. Don't buy masks, do buy masks. If you read the text of what they said, it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a different reason. Like they say, well, don't buy masks right now because we don't want to deprive healthcare providers of masks, which is a different rationale than we don't think that they've helped to limit the spread of disease. But I think people are just having a crisis of faith in the medical establishment right now because they've gotten such a ridiculous runaround of people going back and forth on what they've said about what ought to be done and what will work. And they're also dealing with the economic and social fallout from being limited in their activities, which has a very real psychological and then physical, biological toll. You imagine, being stuck, socially isolated in someplace like a nursing home for 10 months without your family.
Oh, yeah.
How do people cannot dismiss the effect that may have on morbidity and mortality? That's another thing that people have been basically censored on And they've been said, people have said, well, you shouldn't be questioning the lockdowns. It's for the greater good. Well, what do you mean the greater good? How do we quantify that? Why can't we have a civil, dispassionate discussion about what the potential mortality may be due to loneliness? Why don't we have that data as well, which we don't really have it?
A civil, dispassionate discussion. I don't think I've ever heard that said more perfectly and succinctly than that, right? It's like let's look at the science and let's remove the politics and let's not freak out. How hard is this, guys? Right? I mean, that's actual science. That's actually somebody that's speaking, in my opinion, about the way we should look at things, not the Twitter mob or this or that or the other thing, or who cares who's upset by it. Like, we should ignore those things. But of course, we've been trained to not. We've been trained to go along with the mob rule, the outrage culture, and all the rest of this. It's going to destroy us. In my opinion, it's going to destroy us. I mean, we're talking about
wholeheartedly.
Right? It's literally encroached on science now. And I'm not saying science is such a pure thing. It is in the scientific process. But once you become you add peer review and you add competition and you add everything's flawed because people run it. That's the thing. People are flawed. Everything is flawed. So, but you get it. You get what we're saying here, and what we're pointing at is that it doesn't have to be this way, and yet we allow it, we encourage it, and it's pretty awful. So let's burn through a couple more of these just to make sure. Any comment on that, real quick, Sean, before we plow through this?
You know what? And I think that's the biggest thing that's missing, not just necessarily in science. I'm talking like society in general. Is that there is no more civil discussion about anything. And honestly, it's just driving people further and further apart. And unfortunately, and I know this is gonna sound of course into the far left, but this is what the higher ups want, the ones that are supposedly running things, the government, the Illuminati, and pretty much anyone that doesn't have our general best interest of the mind, like, again, going into that far left. So, I think we as people have got to, just ignore all the division and everything else like this, and just sit down and be like, okay, this is what the facts are. This is the results that we got out of our scientific, examination. And we can repeat this over and over again, and we're still going to get the same results. It may vary by maybe 1 or 2%, plus or minus. So,
Amen. And we're still talking about trust the science, guys. That's the theme for tonight. We're here with Sean, the Canadian, our favorite Canadian. But of course, remember, if you're also Canadian, you're also our favorite Canadian. So it's all good, and we love our Canadians. And so here's the thing. We're going to go with part 2. This is an exclusive interview conducted by Sean with Dr. Stillman, and he's been censored, and he's talking about this and how politics and medicine do not mix, and it's an important thing that we need to discuss and kind of actually confront as a society. So here we go, part 8. We're going to keep on trucking with this, and good stuff. Some of the stuff you guys linked earlier, he brings up a little bit later in this interview. So pay attention. Here we go. Action.
One of the things with scientific study today is that there's all this bureaucratic sort of there's a lot of bureaucratic challenges and red tape to get them done. I don't really know how you would study all that. What I do know is that I think it's the UN considers solitary confinement to be torture. It's a form of torture.
Yeah.
And so that's effectively what a lot of people in nursing homes are dealing with right now, is virtually solitary confinement.
Okay. Well, I guess the same could be said for a lot of the people that are dealing with all their lockdowns in Australia, even New Zealand, where, you can't go past I think it's 5K or something like that from your house.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It is completely insane.
Yeah.
So now, with all the lockdowns and rules and mandates,
yeah,
do you think that they that they should supersede what happens or what's in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and even up here with the Chartered Rights and Freedoms? Do you think that any of that should be superseded? Like all those, like I said, those rules, mandates, bylaws, whatever. Do you think that they should supersede, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Charter Rights and Freedoms?
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, of course, unless the governed decide that they should, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that's been should concern anyone who wants to be free about the way that this has all been handled. It's been governors and the president, and everyone seems to want to blame them for whatever's happening, which is ridiculous because you're supposed to have elected representatives pass legislation after having considered the facts and debated the facts, and then they're supposed to enact that legislation. It's supposed to be enforced by law enforcement, right? Mm-hmm. And then if there are disputes over it, it's supposed to be adjudicated in the court system. Mm-hmm. That hasn't happened.
This guy sounds like a terrorist. How dare he? How dare he call out civics the way they're supposed to work? How dare he? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
how dare he?
How dare he?
Come on, play it, Mike. Play it.
How dare he? Do I have it? Oh shit! I think I might. I think I have the other soundboard. Do I have it? Oh, come on! No!
How dare you?
Yes, I have it.
Yes.
How dare you? Listen to the things he was saying, right? Again, I'm not going to elaborate too much because we ride the line with the Bill of Rights and, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the First Amendment, Second Amendment. We talk about this stuff a lot. Not a lot, but often enough on this show that these things are, these freedoms are self-evident, as the quotation goes. And so I think like we're talking about science, we're talking about freedom, we're talking about gaslighting and politics and a bunch of this other BS. This is good, man. Like I'm a fan of this guy. Like the things he's saying is that, I want this guy to be my doctor. And think about it this way, right? Now, this is the crazy part. Let's take this to the anecdotal again. Now, who out there has ever had a shitty doctor? Just a shitty.
No,
doctor,
I definitely have.
Kind of like you roll through and they don't give a damn about you. They barely know your name. They barely take notes. They barely do whatever. And they don't they're like a pharmacist, right? They're like, here's your shit. Get that.
Yeah, that's all they are. It's just here's your new set of pills.
Yeah.
Come back if the dosage isn't good. And then you go back when the dosage isn't good, and he's like, oh well, there's this brand new one which I secretly have shares in. And it's like
exactly.
Fuck.
I get a kickback every time I what do you say? Prescribe one of these? I was going to say subscribe.
Prescribe.
Prescribe. Every time I hand this out like candy, I get a kickback. Yeah, they're professional drug dealers, they say, right? And there's the conspiracy. There lies the conspiracy. This is crazy stuff. Okay, so let's burn through a couple more of these clips and get to the back end of this so we can finish this show up properly and get this entire interview out because it's important. Like I said, I don't want to leave any of this out because, like I said, Sean did a ton of work. You guys do it. You guys go out. You try and get somebody who's going to do an interview and discuss this and spend an hour of your time kind of discussing these things, and then and then chop it up and turn it into. This is a shit ton of work. So I just want to make sure again. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Thank you for saying, hey, let's do this on Troubled Minds and get this out as an exclusive type of thing. And I appreciate all of the work you've done on this. So that's why I'm pushing hard to just make sure we get through this. We are still taking your calls.
Thank you very much, man.
Please, thank you. Please keep them brief if you call in for the last half here. We're going to just finish this up and make sure we get this information in. So here we go. Part 9 of this interview. There's only 13, so we got a few more left. So we're good. I think we're good time-wise. I just want to make sure we get it in the front end instead of the back end. So here we go. Part 9. This is, again, Dr. Stillman, and he's talking about censorship in medicine. Action.
That's one of the things that people need to be asking questions about and really thinking about hard is what kind of society we're being set up for. We're being set up for a society where, a medical doctor who's in an expert physician in the government says we need to do this. And the governor or the president says, well, we need to do this. And so they do it.
Yeah.
Well, if that means crushing your business and destroying your income, that's a big deal because some of those small business owners who are going out of business, they're going to commit suicide next year. And it's not going to show up right now. It's not going to show up in the mortality right now. It's going to show up next year, the year after that. People don't realize that the Great Depression took 4 or 5 years for the stock market to truly hit its bottom, and it was a 90% loss over a certain period of years, and people were just wiped out. And that's what people are likening this to, in all likelihood. And, you know, there's also no evidence that I'm aware of that lockdowns work.
Yeah,
it's all theoretical.
Yeah, well, and I do believe that the WHO has come forward and said that, hey, you know what, lockdowns don't really work. So, you know, why are you doing them? But yet,
I haven't seen that, but I mean, it's lots of people have looked at this, and you know, the mortality over the next 5, 10, 15 years may be worse from lockdowns than it has been from COVID, without any clear evidence of benefit.
Well, exactly. It's like, you know, if you look at some of the prisons and stuff like that, you know, there's been lockdowns and stuff like that, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't really do anything really, because of the fact that you're stuck in this bubble, and, you know, everything that's, you know, going on is just going to circulate there. So it's not, you know, it's not really getting rid of whatever could be in there.
Okay, so I'm going to go straight to this next one. Just like I said, we're going to front load this, and then we can take your calls at the end. We are still taking your calls tonight. We're talking about trust the science, right? What does that mean? And if you ask an actual doctor, what will they tell you? Well, Sean here, thanks, Sean, actually got an interview with a doctor discussing this exact thing. What does trust the science mean, and how political can it get? And this individual, Dr. Stillman, is telling us. So let's go. One more, and then we'll keep on trucking. We're still taking your calls. You want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can be on the show Discord or phone. Either way, Sean's here on Discord with us. Let's go, part 10. And then after this one, we'll hang out for a second, talk, and say what's up to chat. But good information here. Now listen, so earlier Tim linked NASA and what was happening to actual people in space. Now this guy gets there. This doctor gets there. So hang tight. It's coming up. Here we go. Part 10 of this. There's only 13. We're down to the last 4, so we're almost done with this. Lots of love in the chat for Sean. Thank you guys. Appreciate that a lot. Here we go. Part 10.
Thanks, guys.
Action.
There's a lot of ridiculous thinking about the quarantining and the masks and the stuff. You know, I mean, people, for example, like enclosing outdoor spaces and then saying that it's outdoors. People saying, "Oh, we want you to put your mask on when you go to the bathroom, but not when not when you're sitting down and eating." It's like same air, same people, same location. I mean, you know, are you trying to actually? What are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
Do you want this to work, or do you want to sort of like it's just very arbitrary, you know? And there are a lot of things that people don't realize about viral illnesses that are things that people get. I don't know if I want to say censored over, but that people are not aware of because the medical community doesn't do a good job of explaining them, because the medical community is confused by them. Like, for example, did you know that astronauts start to shed virus when they go into space?
Really?
Yeah. Why is that? Is it the lack of gravity? Is it the artificial light that they're exposed to? Is it the cosmic radiations? If it's the cosmic radiations, is it the microwave and radio waves that are blocked by our atmosphere? Is it the high dose or high intensity UV light? Is it the gamma rays? Is it alpha particles? I mean, nobody has a solid answer to that question. And I don't even know how you would study it, right? But it happens, and it's very well documented in the literature. And the other thing is viral illnesses sometimes spread, in fact, routinely spread to people who have obviously not been exposed, or they will skip populations that have been exposed. So, when the 1918 flu was headed around the world, there were these weird examples of the flu skipping a city. Like it would be in Boston, and then it would show up in Buffalo, and it would skip New York City. How does that make any sense? Right?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It's like a smart virus. It's like, these people are infected over here.
That's right.
Oh, shit. We can't go to New York.
Right.
You know what? Let's go to Buffalo.
And this is why you get people saying, well, these diseases must not necessarily be contagious.
Right. Again, so we're talking about, trust the science. And it depends. And I think basically when we talk about this stuff, and we talk about this often on the show, is the term scientific consensus comes up, right? With like global warming and climate change, and they changed the term, and now it's like catastrophic climate change, whatever the hell they're calling it now, right? It's like pump the gas on the biggest.
Yeah, whatever they change the wording to.
Yeah, exactly, so that they can get the most traction out of it politically. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we have a corrupted scientific society, and I'm not shitting on the scientists. I'm not shitting on the doctors. You know, of course, as everybody, right? We're all responsible for ourselves. And if we're shitty human beings individually, we are. It's just what it is, right? It's just what it is. But like, you can't, like, just like I don't want to call all this type of person bad or that type of person bad, or people that work at, you know, let's say for instance, cops, all cops are bad. It's literally the dumbest thing you can say, in my opinion. It's like saying all white people are bad or all black people are bad. It's not true. It's literally not true whatsoever in any capacity whatsoever, because that's dumb. It's literally a dumb premise. And so somehow, some way, politically and through the media, these are the things we're talking about. Like, they look at demographics and they try and like paint individuals based on demographic data, right? And not only that, like fake, false, spun, twisted demographic data. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Really, really twisted.
Don't get me started.
Well, actually, you know, I found I just learned something really interesting today. Or not today, actually, yesterday, and it's rather an interesting thing that any politician who decided to call in experts or whatever when they're debating bills and stuff like that here, they could say anything they want, like absolutely anything. They can't be held liable for it. I don't know if it's the same down there, but it's just kind of one of those things. Is like, you wonder where a lot of the inflammatory statements could end up coming from, right? So, you know, it all depends on what the politician and his angle, you know, for his policies or his party's policies, even what what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Agreed, 100%. Just following the chat here. Let's see, where are we at time-wise? Got to make sure we pace this correctly. All right, so we're good, right? We're down to 3 clips left, and we're looking for your calls, guys. If you want to be part of the show tonight, you got me. I'm Mike, of course. This is Sean. He did this fantastic interview with Dr. Stoneman, and we're talking about trust the science, and we're talking about all the rest of these things, and we want to know what you think about this. And if you call, and we welcome you to call, just please be careful how you word the things, because you know the things that they don't want us to say specifically. So we'll have to drop tons of disclaimers before and tons of disclaimers after, and it still might not be enough. So I'm going to need your help with that. But if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord, troubledminds.org. And we're just kicking it. Actually, let's do it. This is a good time for a break. Let's do one of these fake radio outro things, and then we'll intro, outro, and then we'll come back and we'll finish this sucker up with we got 3 more clips from your interview, and we get to the end, which is amazing. The end is amazing, and which is right down our alley. I appreciate you adding that. Apparently, I told you to add that, but I don't remember telling you. I'm telling you, man. Like, I barely
you totally did.
No, I believe you. because you got to understand, right? So like 3 hour shows a week. Can you imagine the crap that goes through my brain? Like, it's and they're all different.
Oh, a shit ton.
I get a shit ton.
Absolute shit ton.
I'm becoming less of a. I used to be a really good memory guy, and I'm becoming more of a like filter the information through quickly type of guy. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. You just can't. I'm doing my best.
No.
But I just forget half the shit I say. Like, I surprise myself. I'll play like a show. I'll be going back editing something, you know, putting up a podcast or doing this or the other thing. And I play just a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck? When did I say that? I'm hearing myself say it, like actually audio. And I don't know, like I said, that's the kind of way I call it. You know, they have that thing called automatic writing, right? I kind of have like that automatic talking. Yeah, thank goodness it's not like off the rails automatic talking where I say all kinds of dumb shit constantly that gets us taken down. So hopefully my automatic talking barely rides the line and we're good, and we haven't crossed the line tonight. But okay. So let's do this. I
don't think we have crossed any lines yet.
I hope so, and I hope to keep it that way. So here we go. As we talk about all the rest of this, I think this is important to say.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
All right, because of course, as you know, as we play some music and do a quick break here, we're going to go talk to the chat and say what's up. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with Sean, the Canadian. He's been hello. He's been here for a long time as part of the show, listening and contributing in chat and also calling in. And now tonight, he's got an exclusive interview with a Dr. Stillman who's talking about censorship. Not just censorship, like shut up, Michael Strange. Medical censorship, where we're talking about science being censored and gaslighted and told they can't say particular things, even if the science itself suggests otherwise. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're talking about this. William says in the chat, don't become like Alex Jones, Mike. Whoa. We ain't even close to that.
That's a very, very tall order and very big shoes to fill.
And very big other things to fill. But okay, if you want to be part of the show, give us a call, 702-957-1037. We're taking your phone calls. We're going to get to chat in just a sec. We're hanging out, talking about trust the science. What does that mean politically? What does that mean for the actual science? And what does it mean for you? So don't go anywhere. Hang tight. We will be right back. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Sean. And more Trust the Science after the break. All right, now we're freeballing. Let's do it. What's up in the chat? The chat.
Let's see. Peter, they legalize propaganda on us and then use the reaction against you. That's actually very true. And that's the thing. They will always look for the person that has the worst reaction to whatever they're saying, or the reaction that goes along with what their policy, what they're trying to do with their policies. And yeah, they'll use it definitely. And then JJ, German people trusted science too. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's it wasn't really science. I think it was more mysticism than anything. But we don't have the answers to any of these things to be real. I think that's the thing.
So let's see. Let's go to YouTube here. The Flat Fellow says, not a single person has ever made any claim at any time leaving our atmosphere. I challenge any person to find anyone who has ever left the Earth's atmosphere. Flat Fellow, you were amazing, my friend. How about okay. We'll get you on the show at some point, and we'll talk about this stuff, because I've got some concerns. I mean, you have to have other agendas, right? Than just the Earth is flat, the Earth is flat, the Earth is flat. I mean, the thing that drives me most nuts about many things is that there's a lot of things to be concerned about. I mean, this is not just a paranormal show. It's not just a political show. It's not just a conspiracy show. It's all those things and more. So, I mean, there's got to be more than just the flat, right? I mean, just the flat. I mean,
exactly.
Are you concerned about the politic? Just asking for a friend. But okay, what else do we got? Hell21 says, okay, they're discussing here. Let's see, reading the chat. Let's see. Penny, Michael doesn't want me calling in this late. I have nothing to offer on this subject unless I'm speaking uncensored. Well, I mean, you know what it is. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Is we're being censored in general. And so here's the thing, right? So here's what we're going to do probably. I think we're going to do. This is what we're going to do probably. Eventually, we'll have like a Friday show, and eventually we're going to monetize some of this stuff. So I know I've been asked many times in the near past how people can contribute to the show. All right? They're like, hey, where do I send money, Mike? And again, that's not the goal, but it does help. Okay? So the more of that happens, the more of the show we can do. So I think what we can do eventually, and hear me out for a sec, is we do a show like this on a Friday night, or maybe a Saturday or something, and then we don't do it on YouTube or anything, or Facebook or anything. We do it live on Discord, and the people that contribute actually get access to that, and they can come in and hang out. It'll be all the same stuff. You'll get the video, you'll get the articles, you get the audio, you get everything we do. But then it'll get cut to a podcast from there. So it'll go straight off of Facebook, off of YouTube, off of DLive, off of all the places that basically censor you. So it's a live thing I'm recording in real time, and then it just gets cut to a podcast, and you get to experience it in real time. So I think we can actually start to do those types of things coming up, because they just added it to Discord as an example. So this is a good kind of test trial of that sort of situation, kind of a Friday night show on impromptu on what's going on and what we're doing here. So yeah, good stuff. Mm-hmm. Good stuff, guys. So lots of good chat out there. I appreciate you guys hanging out, being with us tonight. But okay, any other chat you want to point out before we go back there, Sean, and finish this sucker up?
William says on Facebook, the Earth is donut shaped.
Donuts.
That's kind of really.
I love donuts, man. I love donuts.
I love donuts too.
Except
donuts are awesome.
Except I have to cut out the donuts because of my beer calories. You see, you have to have. You can't have.
Yeah, I gotta have that balance.
You can't have it all. You just can't have it all. So I mostly cut out sweets. I don't know about that. I mean, something's got to fall by the wayside. Anyway, so let's get back. Let's pretend like we're on the radio. Here we go. Let's play this. Let's see. How about this? Here we go. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with our co-host, Sean the Canadian. Yeah, the Canadian.
Hello, everyone.
The Canuck. Is a Canuck. Is a Canuck a derogatory term for a Canadian, or is that kosher?
No, that's kosher, man.
Okay,
we have no problems being called a Canuck.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so we're talking about science and trust the science and how this works. We've got an exclusive interview done by Sean here of a Dr. Stillman. I said it right this time. And he's discussing how, as medical doctor, an actual medical doctor, he's been censored. Well, we're still doing our thing. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We're taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can be on the show using the Discord as well. And we'll continue talking about this. We got a few more clips to go here, but I think the thing about all of this is that we end up being told what to think. And I think that, that's the censorship, that's the brainwash, that's the things we talk about on this show all the time, right? That's what we talk about on this show all the time, is it not?
Oh, yeah, it totally is, 100% is. And, when you try and tell people that, that they've been brainwashed or they've been fooled and everything else like this, they get upset about it because, when they actually take a step back, and if they actually do take a look at all the information that you do have and whatnot and counterpoints, when they actually take that step back, they're not necessarily angry at you. They're angry at themselves being fooled. And then they end up misplacing their anger on the closest person, which happens to be you right in front of them. So you end up being their lightning rod. And, as for me, I've always been a sounding board, lightning rod for many of my friends. And, I do it actually out of a place of love. Not necessarily just to be there to take it, some people would. But, I do it out of a place of love, and, I let them vent. And that's the biggest thing is, if you do happen to talk to a relative or a close friend or something like that about this, and, you provide information and they take that step back, you see it in their eyes, they take that step back and they're like, huh. Well, damn. You know what? Let them be angry. Let them vent. Don't pull out any I told you so's, because that's just going to make them hate you. So, like I say, if a person, takes a step back, they do the aha moment, just let them vent.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? It's become the new when you get together with a family, don't discuss religion and politics. It's kind of become don't discuss anything, right? Like everybody gets so mad at each other
pretty much
over some dumb stuff. And again, right, like I said, we are allowed to actually make our own priorities. I mean, as individuals, right? I mean, that's the whole deal, and that's the whole point of this show is that we should be able to, as individuals, make that priority for ourselves. Our reality is our own. And you don't have to listen to CNN or Fox News or any of this other garbage. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. Right?
Or even me.
Yeah. That's the point, right? Like, it's like, take it under consideration. That's the whole point of the show. It's not like we're talking about these things. It's hard for me to do a show and be completely neutral. It's hard. Like, try it. Try and be like, I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm not trying to make you believe anything. It's fucking hard. Because, we all, as a human being, we all have our beliefs, right? We do. And so it's a thing. It's part of what we do. And so what we're talking about tonight is trust the science and what that means and how it's been used to gaslight us and kind of browbeat us and make us believe a bunch of crap that just isn't science at all. I think that's the worst part here. That's. So let's play a few more clips. We're still taking phone calls.
The pseudoscience attack.
Exactly. Yeah, the politicization of science, and I think we're going to get to that in the interview here. Again, this is Dr. Stillman, an interview done by our good friend Sean here, longtime friend of the show, and it's an exclusive. This has not been heard anywhere else on the internet or elsewhere, and you're hearing it for the first time tonight. So thank you again to Sean. Thank you again to Dr. Stillman for taking the time to actually give us some information that is behind the scenes, things that don't really get out. So here we go. Let's go last few clips here. Still taking your phone calls, guys. 702-957-1037, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. Here we go. Next clip.
Mm-hmm. And there's a certain undeniable truth to that. Like, where does the flu come from every year? It doesn't spring up out of the ground. It's not downloaded to us from space. Mm-hmm. The viral particles that you worry about contracting from someone else, that DNA is running around inside of you. It can reactivate tomorrow under the right conditions. And the conditions happen to be seasonal. And they're also predicated upon your unique context. Mm-hmm. So sick people tend to come down with viral illnesses more. They tend to have prolonged courses and not recover from them and remain sick. So, and then healthy people don't. Why is that? Well, when you actually do their lab testing, as I do, you see why, and you discover what's really going on.
So, now I don't know if you know this or not, but up here we have had two bills that have passed. One in BC called Bill 19, and in Ontario 218. And basically, with those two bills, it absolves the government of all responsibility.
For what?
For any decisions that have been made during the lockdowns, or any decisions that they've made due to COVID and everything else like this, and basically saying that you can't investigate us, you can't hold us responsible, especially if you get really sick to the point of you are now disabled, or one of your family members dies.
What do you think they're covering themselves against?
Personally, I think that they're trying to absolve themselves of any wrongdoing. Like, if they make a mistake, instead of owning up to it, it's like, well, we did this in the best interests of everybody.
Wow, that's insane. It doesn't make, that sounds like the ultimate get out of jail free card for the government, right?
No, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of anything like that down where you are, or anywhere sort of across the States?
No, I have not. Okay. I'll be curious to see how that works out for you guys.
That was a diplomatic way of saying, good luck with that. But this is the thing, right? So I've got the bill up that Sean sent me, Bill 19, 2020 COVID-19 Related Measures Act, and it's this is what they did. You can read it right here. It's right here in black and white. Yeah. Scrolling through it, we're not going to spend too much time going through this because that's what
those things get way too long.
Yeah. Well, that's part of what they do, right? So they stack the documentation so that the average person has no time to read it because you barely have time to like work and feed the kids and listen to a podcast as you fall asleep. Like that's really like what's going on here. And so the government and the powers that be are just running away with it as we're just going, what the hell is really going on here? But all right, so we got a couple more clips to play from this. We're still taking your calls if you got comments on this. Again, I due to the sensitive topic that we're talking about tonight, I do ask that you hedge your words appropriately and not drop too many of the keywords that might get us in trouble. But if you want to be part of the show, love to have you. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. You can click the Discord link. Phone number's right on top of the website. The rest of the website is fucked. It is fucked. So don't please excuse us. It's like in progress. It's like a rework of things because of the new
organized chaos.
There you go. Exactly. This is all planned. This was all planned. But okay, so we got a couple more clips from Dr. Stillman, and we got a few more minutes on this show. So still taking your calls, like I said, and anything on that last clip or this the Bill 19 that you want to add to the thing here? Add to
just like I said. As I was saying with Bill 19, and again, it's I haven't gotten all the way through it, but as it's been presented to me, it's like, they're just completely trying to cover their asses. Like, I don't understand why they would. Well, actually, no, I do understand why they'd want to do that because they don't want to be held liable for anything that goes wrong. Plus, also, money comes out of the government coffers when they're just supplying more money to the coffers through the fines and stuff like that they've been getting out. And believe it or not, actually, 40% of the fines that have been given in Alberta, which is just next door, where I'm originally from, 40% of those have been withdrawn. And these are some of the fines of not wearing a mask, being with more people, more than I think it's like 10, but now that number is halved or something like that. I can't remember. There's so much going on with that. But anyways, but yeah, no, it's just one of those things. Is like, why would you need to have this type of bill? If you are actually doing everything in earnest, if you are listening to the science, which obviously they're not because they're just listening to the pseudoscience or the cherry-picked science. So, it's just like, it just kind of makes you think, like, what else are they trying to cover themselves from? Like, it does not make sense. It doesn't wash.
Yeah, it does not. So we have in the chat, Nathalie on Facebook says this. Hi from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Wow, I did not know about the bills. That's ridiculous. They're trying to cover their asses. I linked it. If you want to read the actual text, do look. And these are the things, right? They kind of slip this in, these legislations and these dark sessions where the media covers for them, and they don't really tell you what's going on. But I didn't read through the entire bill myself because it would probably have taken me 22 years because that's how they roll. But I'm taking Sean's word on this, that this is what's happening up in Canada. Because they're covering their asses from any kind of actual scientific, just any responsibility for any of this, right? Like for destroying businesses or the suicides that come as a result of that or any of the rest of this. So quick sum up. I know. What's up, MJ? Thanks for showing up. I see you there in the chat. Quick sum up. We're just talking about trust the science, right? What does it mean? And not only what does it mean is that, does it mean one thing to us and it doesn't mean another thing to a doctor or a scientist? And, some scientists that go with the flow are like, yeah, trust the science, right? You could find this guy Fingal Ding on, what's his name? I'll link him as part of the show notes on Twitter. And he's like all hook, line, and sinker, right? He's like, he's more political than he is scientific most of the time. And it's like, really, bro? Like, is this science? Like, this is science now. He's amassed a ton of followers, and like it's unbelievable. It's politics, and so that's what we're talking about. So we have an exclusive interview. We're here with Sean from Canada. He did an exclusive interview with an actual medical doctor from the United States, actually, not from Canada. And this is Dr. Stillman, and he's been talking about all kinds of things, wide ranging, and some of the censorship that's been kind of put through his own medical opinion. Now we've got some stuff, right, that kind of he's looking at the data of this pandemic. All right, I'm not going to say the other words, but we're going to go to a couple more clips here and finish this up. But listen to what he says now, specifically that there have been some breakthroughs, and this was like a month ago when this was done, right? So this is not even like cutting edge. Like, this has been known. And listen to what this man says. This is Dr. Stillman in an interview with our good friend Sean here. Exclusive, heard on the internet or anywhere for the first time. Here we go. Next clip, action.
What would you tell the people to kind of alleviate their fears, their anxieties about everything that's going on? And what would you recommend as kind of like a mental health and also a physical health booster?
Yeah, my experience is that this is a treatable disease with ivermectin. Ivermectin is available as a prescription, but the ivermectin that we give to horses, as far as I know, and I'm not recommending anyone try horse ivermectin, but you can get it on Amazon.com delivered to your front door. As far as I know, it's safe and non-toxic, and I've taken it myself because I wanted to see if that was the case. And so far, so good, right? I took it last Monday. Cool. So I think it's great. I hope people know about it. It's a cheap, effective drug. Countries where hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin are widely available have not had significant mortality due to COVID. That's also probably due to the fact that a lot of them have an abundant amount of sunlight year round, which for Canadians is something that you don't have. And that's why for a lot of my Canadian patients, I recommend that they get an ultraviolet type B lamp in order to keep their vitamin D levels up, because apparently the more vitamin D you have, the less severe your COVID course is. Caveat to that being some people really can get sick when they get too much vitamin D, and that is a whole other story. So, the standard caveats to listening to a podcast, doctor apply, don't make any diet or lifestyle changes or changes to your medications without consulting your doctor, right?
Of course.
Okay, you see? Now, interestingly, I heard this for the first time ever, this ivermectin, from this interview. This exclusive interview that Sean sent to me like a couple 3 weeks ago, right? And I'm like, why have I never heard of this shit? Like, hydroxychloroquine was like widely politicized here. Like, how effective? And this guy hints that it's decently effective, right? And he's looking at the data and saying that in countries where ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are actually available, the pandemic deaths are quite lower. I don't think that's exactly what he said, but I'm paraphrasing. But look, I've never heard of this. So how come we've never heard of this? Because fear sells, of course, right? Fear sells.
Yeah.
That's why.
Fear always sells.
Yeah. This is unbelievable to me. It's like, okay, wait, so, I mean, we're not really stating cures here. This is not a cure.
No, it's not a cure. It's just something that he's found that in treatments, again, across the sea, we're not saying this is something that you should do for yourself. And he even states that talk to your physician first before you try to do anything, medicalized, right? So that way, if you were taking any medication that could be setting things off balance, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, okay, talk to your doctor first. But again, if you go to talk to your doctor about this, is he actually going to tell you about it? Or is he going to say, oh, no, don't take that. That's, you don't need to take that. Here, I'll take this instead. Something out of Pfizer or, all the others.
Exactly. And listen to what the man said. He said he ordered some and took it himself because he wouldn't ever subscribe or prescribe this to a patient not knowing. And he took it in his damn self. Like, this is the doctor I want to have, right? He's not trying to just be like, oh, just write some shit and give you the thing and get the hell out of here. Next, right? He's actually thinking about medicine in the proper way. And of course, when you do that, right, you get censored. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about trust the science. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you, right? What does that mean to you? We got a few minutes left. And Again, I can't thank you enough, Sean, for putting this together. Like I said, Sean approached me quite a ways back, and he was talking about this and saying, hey, I got an idea for a show. And here's the best part. The idea for the show turned into several interviews, and now he has his own channel. So can you plug the channel? Give me 60 seconds as you plug the channel, because I'm going to grab another cold one, and I'll be right back. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Be right back.
All right. Well, for the channel, it's called Dark Uglies. We are on BitChute and also on YouTube. I have 2 more interviews that I've done with an Ontario nurse, Kristen Nagel, and also my good friend Jamie, who is ex-military. And I'm hoping that him and I can co-host, just like Mike and I here. So, things have actually been going pretty good. Just checked on the views not too long ago, and we're getting up there. We're still under 100, but got to get the word out somehow, right? And that's also one of the things here is like plug your channel, especially if if you're providing a show and stuff like that with Mike. He's all about hey, you know what? You got a channel, you got a show, you got a website. Feel free to plug it. And even when we talk to people on the phone line there, like with Paul from New Hampshire, he's got his own channel and his own website, and he plugs it every time, and Mike plugs it too. And also, when you guys come on to the Discord, through the app, or if you decide to call in, it's all part of the show's transparency. And that's what we always, say is like, we want to be transparent, right? You can call up, it's like just about 11 o'clock my time, be about 10 Mike's. If you try and call a politician or, hell, even the chief of police, do you think that they're going to answer the phone? Hell no. They're not going to answer the phone. They're like, nah. We'll let that go to the voicemail and everything else like that. So
double hell no.
And also double hell no. And we also again, we put on the links and stuff like that, just so that way people can actually check stuff out. And you know what, if they end up finding something that maybe we've missed and decide to call us out on it, you know what, hey, by all means, we can accept that we're wrong. We're not going to be like the politicians, the mayors, and everyone else, like when they're wrong, they're like, oh no, it's not my fault. No, it's Jim Bob's across the room. It's his fault.
Yeah, always trying to blame everybody else. No, and that's the thing, right? That's thanks for being plugging the channel here. And so I hope it's an idea that maybe reverberates. Maybe maybe the actual mainstream media become frightened by the concept of an open source show that if you disagree with me, you can pick up the phone, you can call me. Now, I know at some point, right, you get too big and you can't take every phone call, or else you'll just take in phone calls all the time, and half the people are pissed and half the people love you, and that's the way it goes, right? But but the idea is fresh. Oddly enough, it's a fresh idea, right? And so even if we get inundated with a bunch of assholes calling, which, I'm going to be a little more crass than our cordial Canadian friends, but if we get a bunch of assholes calling, eventually we'll have to screen them out, and we'll have to get people that want to have a conversation. But the idea persists, and you understand that the idea of a show like this, I'm not the only guy that can do it. I'm not the only gal that can do it. I'm not the only person that can do this. If you're out there listening, and like I said, we're not trying to change the world in and of ourselves in this process. We're hoping one day to inspire the person who does. All right. I'm like, my britches are not so big that I think that, oh yeah, Michael Strange is the man, and we're going to do this, and we're going to change the world, and everything's going to turn from upside down to right side up. No, come on. Let's be real.
However, you got to be realistic.
Exactly. And but the ideas live on. You can subjugate people. You can brutally beat them. You can murder them. And ideas persist. And that's what this show's about. So we're going to finish this up. We got one more clip from Sean and Dr. Stoneman. And I'm glad we got through all of it. I wanted to push through it and make sure we got every bit of pertinent information out of this interview. And this is the fun one. Mm-hmm. If you guys are still around, you're in for a treat because this is the fun one. And we're going to have still taking your calls, 702-957-1037. This is the fun question. And here we go. Final part, Dr. Stillman, trust the science.
Cool. Yeah. And one last final question.
Yeah.
Do you personally think, I have to ask this because it's part of the deal I made with the guy.
Sure.
Do you personally think that aliens exist?
Didn't Trump declassify something that was very clearly stating that they did?
I believe so, but who knows what's going to happen with that, and if it's maybe a psyop. But like,
that's a good, interesting.
As you as a person,
geez, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't have an opinion.
Maybe if you saw enough evidence.
Sure, maybe. I'm totally open-minded to the idea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you again, Dr. Stillman. It was a pleasure doing this interview with you, and I wish you all the best in the future. And I hope that no one further censors you.
Thanks. Good luck with your podcast. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
There you go. Right. So, tell me, do you not want a doctor that's like, yeah, sure, maybe aliens. Let's see the evidence. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't that tell you that he's open to all the things and he's actually wants to do his job as a physician, right? Because he doesn't have that evidence in front of him and he's open to the possibility of it being true. That's amazing to me. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people, like he discussed earlier in the interview. Again, so many props to you, Sean, for putting this together. Like I said, this was an exclusive interview, never heard before anywhere. You heard it here first tonight. Thanks again to Sean here. I'm going to gush a little bit. Can you plug your channel again? Actually, can you don't do that. Link it to me, please. I'm going to link it in the chat so people have it. I'm going to link it over, and I'll yammer on for a little bit. I'll gush about you, but this is the thing, right? So this show, again, like I said, this is not my show, right? Like people will be like, oh, that's Mike's show, that's Michael Strange's show. No, this is our show, guys. Like we don't do this alone. We do this together. Like I always say, right? In some of the outros, I say, look, I'm me, you're you, but together we are us. You understand? It becomes a completely different thing. Once you start to have numbers behind any movement or any idea. And now this is the craziest part about all this is there's no real idea here. Like I'm going to flatter myself for just a sec. We're not trying to tell you to vote for this guy or that guy. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you don't vote. Like, just pay attention and make up your own mind. That's all I care about. Think about these things critically for yourself based on your own experience and make up your own mind. That's all that matters. And you tell me, right? How dangerous is that? I think that's part of the problem. Is to some people, that notion is extremely dangerous because you're not buying their bullshit propaganda. And as you see, Sean contacted me. He's been working on this very hard behind the scenes, and we get this amazing show as a result of that. If you guys are interested in something like that, I have time for you. We have time for you. Case in point, here we are, talking about this stuff. None of this was me. I didn't do any of this work. I didn't pull any of the links. I didn't do any of the interviews. All I did was chop up the interview that Sean did. That's it. You want to do something similar? You know where to find me.
Yo.
You know where to find me. I'm not hiding. I don't hide. There's a phone number live the entire damn time I have a schedule up. I'm not hiding. It's all good. We can agree, we can disagree, we can still be friends. And that's part of the shtick. Did you link me your thing? Let's do it. Where's it at?
Yes, I did. I just sent it to you.
Damn it, where's the shit? I got it.
You got it?
I got it. All right, so I'm linking his channel right here. I'm going to put it in both chats, and we're going to finish this up. Let's finish this sucker up. That's here's the actual interview in its entirety. This is that's Jamie's interview. Okay, that's the whole channel though. So there you go. That's his latest interview.
Yeah,
they're all up there, right? They're all up there.
No, just Jamie's. But I am going to have the other two up. hopefully by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, so the one we just did wasn't exclusive here. He didn't have it up on his channel yet, but it will be there. I just linked it. That's his latest interview. That's right there, and you can find out what's going on. So, okay, let's finish this up. We have one more call. Let's go to Jay. Jay is in the caller queue. Let's go to Jay real quick, and let's see. So this is we're on the phone with Sean, and actually Discord, and he's done some interviews, and we're talking about follow the science. Here we go. Let's go to Jay real quick and finish this sucker up.
All right.
Let's do it. Oh, goodness. Why is it not working? There we go. Oh, there we go. Jay, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Sean. What's up, man?
John, Mike, how are you? Awesome.
Good. Happy Friday.
Yeah, thank you so much. We must have done really good, we've been minding our manners and chewing with our mouth closed and everything else like that. We get to have a Friday show. Yay.
Where do you wear? You must have been wearing 3 masks this week.
No, I don't do that.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
If I have to go somewhere, I don't wear the mask. If I have to wear a mask, don't go there.
Wait. I'm just saying. I made it funny. All right. What do you think about what we're talking about tonight?
I gave you the picture this morning.
Yeah, you did.
Of the tower.
You did.
I can touch that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be within 5 feet away from it at all times. It's right next to a bodega. It's the end of their wheelchair ramp. That's where I was standing when I took the picture. I should have taken that picture too.
There you go. So if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, join the Discord, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. It's free. It's lots of like-minded folks that get together and share this information. And that's the whole point, right? An open source show. People get together, they talk about this stuff, they share the information. But let me tell you something. Like I said, eventually we'll get too big, and we can't take all the phone calls. But all of you guys who have been here since the beginning, if I know your names and there's a bunch of phone calls coming in on the board, I'm taking you. I'm taking you guys. You understand, right? We came up together. We're going to stay together. I'm not going to cast you off for some new cats that are trying to rage and scream at us. So you guys have privileges. You guys have perks. So yeah, just going to point that out. As we grow, I understand that things change. I'm going to try and not make things change because so many smart people have been a part of this as we grew. And again, Jay, Sean, so many people in the chat. We got Sherry, we got Tim out there. There's MJ, Madib, Hell 21, and Copper Mustache. MJ, there's so many people that Penny. I can't even discuss how amazing and how many great people are part of this community right now. And we're getting bigger, and that's an exciting thing. But so you posted a picture in the Discord of a 5G tower, am I right?
That's what the guy said that was when they were working on it, because I asked him what they were doing when I was going over there to get a coffee. We're bumping up the cell phone links. We're putting in the 5G. I was like, wow, that's cool. And then you start reading the warning labels on the side of the thing. And see them going up everywhere. It's kind of crazy.
And the warning label says, "Stay the fuck back! Don't get anywhere near this. It could roast your nuts off." Right? Is that what the warning label said? Yeah, but
there's one. There's one 2 blocks away. But somebody a couple of days ago were talking about how the people were going up there and working on the cell towers and stuff like that, and how they were putting on all that gear. They do. They're they're dressing for a fire when they get in there. I mean, really, they are.
That's a good way to put it.
Like wearing lead suits or what?
I'm not joking. I mean, they're wearing basically turnout gear, up there. What is it? One of the Scoutmasters, when I was brand new into Boy Scouts, like 10 years old or something like that. He told all of us that we need to go to the Army surplus store and get the jackets that they wore. They had a lead liner in them. And I was like, why? And he goes, oh, you don't know what anybody's going to be using on you. That lead liner will help keep you warm and protect you in case something hits you. You never know what's going to hit you. And stuff like that. And I was like, you go back, that's, now you're talking Vietnam. Are they using that kind? Yeah. Yesterday we said something about what they were using in Ferguson with the sound waves and stuff like that to disperse the crowds.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it is
wow,
a little bit
that's,
weird how the synchronicity. So we had actually planned this show on Saturday, and something came up for me, and then so we bumped it to Friday, and I didn't know what the Thursday show was going to be, and the news hit that day. So it's literally a synchronicity between yesterday's show and today, because we were talking about the Havana syndrome and the radio waves causing sickness in people, and now we have this. Interesting, eh?
And so yesterday when you and I were talking, I just decided that I'm going to go out of my way this morning to make sure I get a picture of the thing and send to you, and then you have this on the air tonight. I mean,
synchronicities, man. Sometimes you can't even make this stuff up. It just happens the way it happens. Yeah. Again, all thanks to Sean here for doing all the work behind the scenes. Like I said, he's done several interviews, and so he's launching his own channel. Sean, you're welcome back. At any time, and we'll do what we do. So you let me know when we're going to do something. We'll do it. Of course. And the rest of you guys are welcome as well. You see that. Like I said, we started small. We came up together, and if I know your names and I've said your name, you know, right? We're part of that group right now. We're part of that the inside circle. Where if you want to be part of that secret society, wink, wink. There you go. You're in.
Nudge, nudge.
You want to come over to the house and help me go through the books? I'd appreciate it. I really would. I got tons of them, man.
Hey, and I also, if anybody's in the Vegas area in the next couple months, I've got some weeds to pick. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jay.
You know what? I'll tackle all those gutters there for you, Mike.
Appreciate it, guys. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jay. Let's finish this up, man.
I really appreciate what's going on and the positive attitude. I mean, we're talking about stuff that would make you have a really negative attitude about everything. But the thing is, we can have some fun with it and think about it. And as long as the digi-dog isn't walking up your driveway, you're probably doing okay, Just
and if it is, I taught you how to disable.
Do whatever it tells you to do. I don't know if I'm going after the battery on that thing, man. They chop your arms off or something.
I'm just saying. All right. So yeah. So you think this is real, huh? You think that clearly the science and the science and politics do not mix. I think that's really the bottom line of this show, is that science is sound when it's science pure, and it's peer reviewed, and people can repeat the process and say, yeah, for sure, this works. But then when you have a bunch of political assholes get in the middle of the mix, it's not science at all. It becomes something else. But what do you think about this? The EMF stuff, the electromagnetic frequencies. You think this is something that humanity should be scared about in the future?
I think we should be scared about it, but I think one of the things that we have to go to the science. We're looking at Darwin now. It's here to stay. We're not getting rid of it. Some of us are going to make it, and some of us are probably going to get sick from it. Our bodies probably aren't designed for it. Depending on, whose grandmother, whose grandfather, whatever your lineage is down there, you might be one of the people that you're okay to go to Mars, or even crazy enough to go to those Stargate shows that you had the special little gene that let you fly the ancient technology.
Actually, wait, I got a clip just for you. I got another clip just for you. Hold on. Ancient technology. Hold on. Let's go with this one. Where is it? So many buttons. This is my old soundboard, guys. I didn't used to have this. Now I have this, and now shit, I can't find any buttons. I have like 4,400 buttons instead of like 10. Shit, where is it? Oh, I missed it. All right. Anyway, there it is.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
All right, there you go. There you go. We already know.
Oh, I didn't get to hear it.
You didn't hear it? Okay.
I didn't hate to hear it on the Discord.
Oh, I see. Hold on. See, all right. This is good. This is good for me to know. Hold on. Let's fix this. This is a problem we need to solve right now. Let's click that button. It should have played to you. All right, here we go. Let's do this again. Here we go.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
No?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
I mean, it's possible,
Okay, it's possible. That's what I'm saying.
We can't, discount anything, especially after what we've seen the last year, to stay away from the things that we don't want to get a check mark on our name.
Right, like the bad check mark, not like the blue Twitter check mark, which just means you're a political asshole. That's what it means.
Yeah.
It's a different check mark.
But
yeah. No, you're totally right. You're totally right. And this is again, we're going to continue talking about this. Like I say, like we always say, this show, not this show. This is a conversation. This isn't really a show. It's a conversation, and we're going to continue this. God willing, we're going to continue talking about these things. And like I said, please be inspired. Look, Sean here, he started his own channel. And you also, if you're listening to me and you can hear me and you want to be part of this show from time to time, clearly you can't be on here every single time. But like, if we mix enough people into this show, right, and share the platform, we can launch 1,000 channels. You understand? Like, fine, I'll be the tip of that spear. You hear me? You're welcome. Let's do this. Let's do this. Sean, don't quit, man. It's been 3 years of this show.
I don't plan.
Don't quit, bro. People need.
Don't plan on quitting anytime.
And the thing is that 3 years later we have people listening. But trust me, when you start, it sucks. You think nobody's hearing you. You think that the feedback is poor. You've got us. We'll mix you in from time to time. That's what I'm saying. Let's do this. I support you. I support you because, like I said, together we're us, and that's it. That's a very powerful thing. So let's wrap this up. Final thoughts, Jay, from you, and then let's go. Final thoughts from Sean, and then let's finish this sucker up.
Let's learn all we can. Learn all you can about everything you can. It's just something new every day. If you have to go a little bit out of your way to do it. Be nice to people. Just listen. It's a great show, Mike. Fantastic show after fantastic show after fantastic show.
Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you for listening, being part of it, contributing. Thanks for calling in. It does, like I said, it does make the world go around. There's a ton of people that have 10 times the listenership of us that get no calls. And look at you guys always calling in and having good takes on what we're talking about. So thank you very much. I'm humbled by that. Thanks. Don't go anywhere. Stay here, Jay, as we finish up. Go ahead. Let's finish this up, Sean. Final thought on what brought you here and what's next? What's next for the future, my friend, with your channel and everything else?
Well, I hope that with this episode, it opens up a lot of eyes. At least even gets them half open. That it's not necessarily about having your voice stifled. It's about having yourself stifle your own voice just because you don't want to go against the grain. And that's, I think, the biggest and the worst part about censorship. Yeah, people can shut you down, but if you quit and you don't continue to have your voice, it's like a lot of people are saying, you have rights. If you don't exercise those rights, well, you lose them. And also if you don't know how to exercise them properly, let's add that in as well. We don't want anyone going hog wild and everything else like this.
And you gotta know what they are.
Again,
you have to know what they mean on a base level.
Oh, exactly. As in for saying for censorship, you know what? Don't censor yourself. You have a voice, use it. But have some proper use when you're using your voice. Don't try to incite violence or instill hate on people. Try and do it from a place of reason. Kind of like the Vulcans. They have logic and reason. There's cause and effect, right? But don't take it to that extreme. But anyways, as for the future of my channel, we're definitely going to be, kind of like parallel to you, Mike, talking about the stuff that most people don't want to talk about, or they're too afraid to talk about. They don't necessarily have a space to go and talk about stuff like that. And I'm hoping that with the next episode that I can actually talk to a whole bunch of other veterans and talk about with their depression and with suicide and stuff like that. You know, kind of bring that a little bit more into light, and also in that respect, how a lot of the veteran affairs aren't really, like, they do try and help, but their hands are tied due to the fact of monetary restrictions.
Sounds like you're a terrorist with that statement. I'm just kidding, of course. but yeah, no, that's exactly right. And you know, you're welcome back. Let us know. We'll help you grow. We're helping Ash with the channel grow. He's contributing. You're contributing. Penny has done a ton for this channel. We appreciate that a lot. Everybody, please spread the word. And this is the thing, right? Like I said, this is not mine. This is ours. This is ours together. If you're out there listening and you want to be part of this, you see what happened. Sean did a bunch of work behind the scenes. I promise you, not a single thing. I didn't pull up a single link of my own. I didn't do a single bit of research on my own. This was all Sean tonight. So I want to point out, look how amazing this can happen. These things can grow out of nowhere. And let me ask you, I'm going to toot my own horn for just a sec, Sean. Would you have ever done this channel? Would you have ever done this channel without listening to us and being a part of this show?
You know what? I probably would have, but it's just knowing that there would be other people behind me kind of gave me the more of that confidence.
Go get him, brother. And you've been on this show several times. You've called in several times. You've been a co-host several times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, you have me to back you up. That's what I'm saying. If you're on the fence and you think your voice needs to be heard, I support you. Even if I don't agree with you, I support you. You understand? Let's do it. Let's go up to the top together. Let's start spawning these different channels. Let's get the word out in so many ways. And that's what we're doing. That's why we do this show. You guys are the best. Thank you again, Sean. I can't thank you enough for putting so much work behind the scenes. Like I said, I know how much work goes into doing this type of stuff. It's why I don't do interviews like this, because it would triple the time of my shows. I can't. I don't have the time for that shit. I just don't. I don't.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
It's unbelievable. So that's the thing. So as we finish again, all the thanks tonight, all our thanks go to Sean. I'm going to link his channel. It will be part of this show in the show notes. Thanks again for everybody hanging out. Thanks for all the calls tonight. Thanks for all the chat. Thanks for everybody out there listening. And let's finish this up. Let's do some outro music, and then we'll do our thing. Let's see. You guys want some? What do you want? What kind of music do you want? Let's see. What do we got? How about? Some techno, some rock. What do we got? What do you want?
You know what? Let's hear some rock.
All right, here we go.
Nice.
There we go. 80s rock and roll. It's one of my favorites. Let's. This is the thing, guys. You have a voice. You, as an individual. And let me tell you something. It means something. It means something. If you want to be part of this eventually, come help. It helps me. It helps you. I'll help you grow. Let's do this together. Everybody to the top. So many voices out there need to be heard, and here we are. Like I said, I'm me, you're you, but together, we're us. Thanks again to Sean. So unbelievable extra show because of him. All the extra work is all Sean's credit. I'm going to link his channels again real quick, and we're done. We're finished. Final thoughts, Sean? Let's get the hell out of here.
You know what, everyone? As I say at the end of every show, make sure that you love and respect one another, and also be willing to listen and be open-minded. Because if you have a closed mind, that's a very troubled mind.
Amen. Worse than that. It's worse than that. Thanks, guys. You're the best. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific. You know the drill. We'll be back on the Fringe doing our thing. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Jay, for being here. Thanks, everybody else, for calling and being part of the chat. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good to yourself so you can be good to others. Be strong. Be sure. Be strong. Be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.
Night, everyone.